to a baby boy. The reality TV stars posted a picture on Instagram with her partner Sammy Kimmins kissing their new son. From Sky News, I'm Anna Bates.
Greatest Hits Radio.
And now, the forerunner to Facebook, where your words tell 1,000 Instagrams. Use your phone for making that call. And get talking across the northeast, please. Because this is Night Owls with Alan Robson.
Hello everybody, welcome to the Night House programme. Alan Robson with you, of course. Wherever you happen to be, hope you've had a safe and an alright week. Always making the best of every second, because for the next 4 hours, my job is to try and make you forget about all of the worries and all of the stresses and strains. And we got more of them on us now than we ever have, certainly in my lifetime. So, be safe, be well. And for the next 4 hours, let's talk about stuff. And the thing we're talking about tonight is school. Now, it is said today by Government Minister that the children are probably not going to go back to school till at least after Easter. Putting a lot of pressure on parents. Those on furlough, well, not quite so bad, but how's everybody else going to cope with that? Pick up your telephone, give me a ring. We're talking about school tonight. Your school, the school you went to. Because we're also hearing that because so many children are now learning from home, school may never be the same again. Now, I don't know how it was for you, but I can remember the flying board rubber, the strap that stood up on its own. Some of you will also remember canes, probably. Tell me your stories. I want to know about discipline. I want to know what school dinners you had. Was there anything from a school dinner that was just too good to miss? What were the awful ones? What was the politics of your school? I don't mean like Labour Tory stuff. I mean, how did it work? How did you deal with the year above you and all of the years below you? Ooh, there was a lot of that going on. Playing for school football teams, did you? Or tennis, or... Didn't have tennis now, so a bit namby-pamby, but rugby, we did rugby. We did cricket. Rounders. And when I was in little school, we even had bean bags and kites. Wow. So I want to open up those doors to your early days at school, and I want your stories. Pea shooters, there you go.
Remember the insides of a pen?
Yes.
We used to do that out the window as well, you know.
Yeah.
Take the refill out the pen and put the dry peas that were really hard.
Yes, the ones that you're supposed to steep. There you go. How many of you remember that? Then, of course, when I was a 10-year-old, I didn't have this guy's confidence. But are you after a girlfriend?
Yeah, I don't know what to do, to be honest with you.
Really? How old are you?
10.
You're 10? And is there somebody at your school that you quite like?
Maybe.
Maybe. So that's a yes, really, isn't it? And are you able to talk to her, or does it get a bit tricky when that happens?
Tricky.
Yeah, no. It's awkward because you don't know what to talk about to women. So, have you ever spoken to her, or is she always, like, surrounded by her friends?
Yes, she's always surrounded by her friends.
Right. Does she know that you like her?
No.
Right, because that's the thing.
I have to admit, I was a bit of a chick magnet in year 1.
There you go. Whoa. There's also lots of different schools. We used to have a Catholic school over the road. They used to barrage us with abuse, and we used to send equal amounts of abuse back. That's when I went to Atkinson Road in Benwell. Tell me about your school. What was the best things about it and the worst things about it? I want to know everything. Because let's face it, some schools, there are challenges. Oh my goodness, if you went to a convent school, I would imagine you would have received a bit of interesting treatment.
Oh, a lot of interesting treatment. The one that I used to get the most was if I didn't do anything right in maths or whatever, we used to have to kneel on pencils with our nose against on the wall in this circle. That knocked me knees up for the rest of my life, I tell you.
Horrible. Knock your knees up. I also remember the teacher hitting me with a plastic ruler on the back of the knuckles, but not flat. He was using the edge of it. Oh, that did not hurt. Brendan Wilde works in a nearby chippy to the studio. Any chance of a shout-out? Brendan, love and respect to you, mate. I hope you're getting lots of customers. Seems that the takeaway is the only way that any money's changing hands these days, pretty much, other than supermarkets. Thanks for being with us. Appreciate it. Let's keep going with the school. You remember any kind of punishment you went to? Or maybe the school dances, where everybody took a pop bottle, but the pop bottle was full of vodka? Or was that just my school? And we talked a bit about the belt.
We were belted. We got the belt.
Belted, yes.
Across our hand.
Right.
And if we moved our hand, we got it twice.
I remember exactly the same thing, because there was always some clever dick who'd put his hand out and then pull it away at the last moment, and the teacher would go, whoa, hang on. Paul Hart remembers a horrible maths teacher. If I had 50 pence for every time she told me I was useless and couldn't do maths, I'd have £3.42 by now. Chocolate concrete and pink custard, my absolute favourite pudding at school. There was something about the pink custard thing. Michael Malia says the best thing for him about school was his school burnt down. Sneaky suspicion there's still a sniff of gasoline on his hands. Then, of course, at school, it's the place we tend to get embarrassed, frankly, a lot.
Me being me, I just kind of ran straight out of the building.
Well, you have a towel. I hope you had a towel on.
No. No. I ran out completely starkers, and like I say, the whole school was outside waiting for me. And luckily, the teacher went in and got a flannel, a hand towel.
A flannel?
Unfortunately, at that age, it kind of did. But yeah, so but that wasn't just the only thing, because like I said, that was just my school that kind of saw me. Following day, they had like a bit of an entertainment thing, and they gave certificates out and stuff.
Right.
So anyway, they gave lots of certificates out for achieving things and stuff like that, and they said we've got a special certificate now. I was like, all right, okay, for the best dressed person during a fire drill. And they got me up. And I was in front of everyone.
Fantastic. So what's your stories? Everybody's got a school story. Lots of other stuff happening. If you get the vaccine, you've got to stay in for 3 weeks until it kicks in, apparently. Scotland wants to hold a referendum for independence without Boris's permission. Says that Brexit's already cost them £250 billion so far. We're only into January. An increase in assaults on the elderly at care homes. One woman says we're not paid enough to care. Hell's bells. Over 1 million children removed from their families and taken and abused by the Catholic Church. We know there's been films made about it. One home run by nuns went as far as to murder unruly children. Whoa. A British SAS sniper kills 5 ISIS terrorists from half a mile with a single shot. Rafa Benitez to become the new Celtic manager up there in Scotland. Health passports could allow us back into pubs and restaurants and allow us to travel to other countries. What's your view on that? And the police are looking for 4 men who sexually assaulted an unconscious woman. Now, this is something that does happen, you know, in city centres. You see men looking for women who are completely drunk to try and take advantage of them. You really got to be super careful. Scumbags. France is also having a purge on people who commit incest. Just how common is that? It's a dark door, but if you wish to open it, let's talk about it. The poorest Newcastle United side in generations, some people are saying. And of course, if we weren't talking about that, we would probably get back to discuss just some of those school punishments. The punishments for kids just seem to have disappeared altogether, because to me, detention's not a punishment. And the other thing they do, which I would have loved, well, I would never have been at school, if you're bad in class, they say, I'm going to send you home for the day. Well, blame me, I'd have been acting up in registration class. Robson, I'm not here, missus. How about that? Did you play the wag? What school sports did you do? And you know, at the end of a term, there's always about 4 days where the teachers have essentially given up. And they say, oh, you can bring your games in. Well, now it's all high-tech, and it's on your phone, and it's your Game Boy, and it's all like handheld computer games. What did you take into school? Was it your magnetic football? Scrabble? Board games? A lot of board games back in the day. I want all those stories. Oh, what was your school uniform like? Did you have a badge? Mine was embarrassing. Mine was maroon and yellow. Guaranteed to get you beat up in bed with that, man, I have to tell you. 0191 488 3188. John Elslade says, I always made a fool of myself so I would get sent home. Say, he knew the score. And the school dinner. It was the roasters. That was the clincher for me. I got free school dinners as well. And you had to do that embarrassing... You know, the whole point of free school dinners is so that you didn't feel like you were poor. And yet at the beginning of every week they said, OK, who are the free school meals? Come up and get your titty. That you had to hand a ticket over every time you got a meal. We had to do the walk of shame every week. Blazers. Oh, can you look good in a school uniform? Girls do, automatically. Never understood that, but lads, nah. Shirts hanging out. Yeah. Trousers that are too short because you can't afford to buy a new pair. Nasty. Pick up your telephone. I want all that school malarkey. And we shall laugh and we shall joke and we shall remember. And we'll get through 4 hours with a grin on our chops. We're also talking to the stars. Got another competition for you. A link. Slinky links. Hit links. Haven't got a name for it. If I had a fancy name, I'd be using it there. But it's 4 answers that have some kind of link with one another. You got to work out the link. Think you'll get it today. But we are Greatest Hits Radio Northeast because of stuff like this.
Call Alan Robson's Night Owls now.
0191 488 3188.
This is real-life conversation with the voice of the North.
Greatest Hits Radio.
So where did you go to school? What was it like? Who was your favourite teacher? We've had a few bits back, and every single one brings back a whole host of memories. Julie says she used to have something that was commonplace. Can you get them today? Corned beef legs. It's been so cold, your legs literally look like a piece of corned beef. And Mr. Morris was her favourite. Kugelbear says he was banned from school because he wore Doc Martens. And Gina used to do all kinds of different sports because they could use the swimming pool at Bladen Comprehensive. Rich from San Diego says he hated school. He used to get signed in and then slip away and hung out at the mall until everybody else came out, and then he went home with them. Paul, how cool would it have been to have gone to Cramlington High School and have been taught by Sting? And Simon Ford Hafen Forrester says he never did the wag, even though he hated every moment at school. Work that one out. He says, I just don't think people with a Hafen play the wag. I think it's people who can't afford a Hafen. They're the one that sneak out the back. 0191 488 3188. It's my theory. Let's go and talk to John, who's in Bertley. Hello, John.
You all right, mate?
Champion, what you got for me?
I'm just I'm a first time caller.
Champion, thank you very much. What you got?
I've been listening to you for years.
Good man.
I used to every class that I used to get in, you always used to get kicked out. But them days that you used to be able to get kicked out from school straight away, they used to send you home.
Yeah, but there was always like back in the day for me anyway. If you got kicked out a couple of times though, then your parents would be called in and they'd have to come to school and sit down and take a finger wagging off the headmaster. You're not playing your part and all the rest.
Was it actually getting kicked out, or was it just actually getting sent home?
I know, but
didn't get as far as getting kicked out.
But getting sent home's great. I just can't.
Oh, I loved it.
But it's not a punishment, is it?
Nah, it wasn't a punishment. Not them days anyway. Now it is.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But back then, it was any chance of that, it would be thumbs up and you'd be whistling when you went down the corridor. Did you have to do that thing where you had to sit outside the headmaster or the headmistress's office?
When I went to Lyndhurst, it was Mrs. Jones was the head teacher. I always had to sit outside her. I always went in that office though, because she always used to call us Dimples. When I smiled. She used to love it.
Were you there at the time when they could still hit you? Or you after that?
No, I left in 1998.
Oh, blimey, hey. You're a baby. You're still a baby. Practically an embryo. Hey, but, I mean, so the worst punishment was just getting sent home then?
No, just getting sent home, aye.
What about the whole detention business and lines on the board and all, none of that?
No, we used to have the lines on a piece of paper.
All right. Right, 1,000. So what were the things that got you sent out then? What was your technique?
Well, one of them was when I used to get into French.
Right.
And he used to say, right, we're going to learn French. And I used to sit there and say, well, why am I going to learn French when I'm never going to get to France?
Right. Have you been to France?
No.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, I did once. But I never had to, I was only there for an hour or something.
Oh, that's all right. So in all that while, you just thought, I can't understand these people. I'm going to have to leave. After an hour, I've had enough.
It's not for me.
Good. Because the things that I've never understood was there was certain things you got taught. For example, things that people say are really important. Logarithms. When have you used a logarithm after you leave? You never even hear of a logarithm.
Never, ever.
Algebra. Really? Whoa. I mean, I would get kicked out of maths. Maths was the one for me. I would always play up. I couldn't do it. Useless with numbers. So I'd act up, play the fool, stand outside the door till the lessons were over. All that kind of stuff.
So RE, religious education, I was like, nah, I'm not bothered.
Right. Even though you could go to hell.
Aye.
I think you've already booked a ticket by the sound of it. I mean, were you good at anything?
I've learned all my religious education off you.
Oh, well, bless you. Hey, but make your own mind up. Please don't be coloured by what I say. But the other thing is, were you good at anything at school? Was there anything there that you liked?
Art in woodwork.
Right.
That's the only things that I would actually sit down and do.
So what did you make in woodwork that you took home for your mother? Because that's everybody says you've got to make something for your mother.
I made an aeroplane.
I bet she was thrilled.
In a bird box.
A bird box. You see, it's always for your mother. Oh, we're going to make this for your mother.
We've done metalwork where I made screwdrivers and stuff like that. When I was young, what screwdrivers were made home.
And when you took them home, because there was a thing that I made. It was a thing called a knick-knack, and I made it in woodwork. And what it is, when you play noughts and crosses.
Aye.
If you can imagine the three boxes, the bottom left corner, the middle, and the top corner, and it was just that bit, and you were supposed to put your ornaments on this wooden thing with cross-halving joints and glue and stuff. And you take it home and your mother looks, and you're so proud. You think, this is going on the wall forever. And she looks at it and goes, that's nice, sit down and have your tea. And you never see it again for the next straight in the cupboard. Woof, gone.
Oh, I made her a picture and all, but I didn't think I've ever seen it since.
It didn't even go on the fridge?
No.
I don't
know. Everything goes on the fridge.
I know, this is the thing. I must have. You talk about, I really liked art. Maybe art didn't like you too much. That's the thing.
Definitely,
Can you honestly say, hand on heart though, John, that something in school didn't help you when you got a bit further down the road?
I think it was just me, the way I was, and the way I was at the minute. And I actually suffered with dyslexia and stuff like that, and I just didn't listen.
Right.
I just didn't really care.
Because, I mean, nowadays there's there's places you can go to get help for dyslexia, and schools, schools are supposed to look out for people with it. Did they not catch you, or did you slip through the net?
Nah, this never really helped us.
Right.
Just let us keep on. I went into special classes and stuff like that, but still them days was just like, oh, crack on. Now it's a lot different now. Like.
Yeah. So they just sit you on a table and get you doing something just to bide the time to get you out of class.
There's a piece of Lego and stuff like that to try and build something. That's what it's on them do.
What am I going to do with you? Oh, come on.
Just say you can just crack on.
But that's really sad. It's good that it's changed and things are better now. But back in the day, people that had any kind of problem at all were kind of just pushed off into a corner, or you're putting everybody off. Just you sit over there on that table in the corner and do a drawing, and everybody else is doing something fancy.
That's why I started loving art, because we say, there you go, sit yourself in the corner. There's a pen and a piece of paper. Just draw something.
Right.
And I used to love drawing.
Right. Oh, well, there you go. Hey, you got something out, I'm sure.
Oh, aye. Definitely.
So who was your favourite teacher, and what school did you go to then, John?
I went to Lyndhurst Comprehensive. My favourite teacher was my head teacher, was Mrs. Stewart.
Why?
Because, like I say, she always used to look after us, and I always used to say, oh, make dimples and this. And then that one day when I went into French, and I said, I'm not learning French, I can't be asked for this. I can't be bothered with this. And then the French teacher hired us out, and Mrs. Stewart grabbed us by the tie and dragged us into her office.
And you know, these are all things that I suppose technically could get that head teacher sacked nowadays. If she did anything like that. It all seems to be red tape now, kind of holding teachers back and stuff. Paul's just saying he used to play kick the can, hedge hopping, tracking, knocking 9 doors, and run happy. And then you used to run away.
Toss.
Say again?
On break time, pigeon toss.
Pigeon.
The money towards the wall.
That's right, and the one that got closest to the wall got the money. Brilliant. Did you make money or did you lose money? I tended to lose a bit of money.
I definitely lost it.
Yeah, because always some big kid comes up and the big kid for some reason always had. We used to do it with like 5 pences. He must have had a 5 pence that was made of lead because it never bounced. It just went right up against the side of the wall, scooped all the money up, back pocket, took shop.
I was landed on the wall. It was perfectly straight.
Like as if it was covered with super glue. I know. There must have been a knack to it.
When you used to play conkers, I was that one kid that had the conker that was covered in varnish.
And he'd go around saying, I've got a 99.
I'll pay you this time, mate. Next break we'll get you.
Well, I was told that what you had to do was steep it in vinegar and then put it in the oven, but not too much, because if you put it in too much, it would crack. But if you got it out before it cracked, it was hard as hell.
No, see, we used to get put in the airing cupboard.
Right.
The old airing cupboards when you were a kid.
Yeah.
Put them in the airing cupboard. Keep them in the airing cupboard for a bit.
Yeah.
And steep them in vinegar. Then put them back in the airing cupboard. But never ever worked. But there's always that one kid that had it in varnish.
Yeah, absolutely.
Dad used to go, I'll show you a trick.
Brilliant. Fantastic.
See, the kids these days didn't even play. They didn't play conkers, and now I was like, my kids is just sitting in the house and play on computers. They just get outside and can play, can do something.
The whole conker thing, about 5 or 6 years ago, they did say, if you're playing conkers in the school playground, you've got to put goggles on.
Oh, yeah.
And you could get a bit of shrapnel. How many people, genuinely, hand on heart, have you ever heard of any child anywhere ever getting a shard of conker in the eye? Because I haven't.
Never.
Crazy.
There's nothing.
You can't climb trees.
These days is unreal, man.
Yeah, in
That's
cotton
why
wool.
kids can't do now.
Yeah, and I mean, with the time off, are you managing to look after them, or are they becoming a bit of a drag?
No, because he was like me, my partner, key worker, so that they got to school. So
happy days, happy days. Hey, lovely hearing from you, John. Thanks for being a first timer as well, top man.
Aye.
Thanks, mate.
All these years I've been listening.
Hey.
I had to get in.
Good man. Thanks a lot.
Right, thank you. Right,
Catch you again. Bye-bye. John in Burtley, first-time caller. What a gem. You see, it's just a bit of crack. Pick up your telephone. Forget about the world around you. Yes, we know it's serious. Yes, we're going to do what we can to keep everybody safe. And hopefully by the end of this year, we will be in a different world. But for now, let's talk about school and whatever you want to talk about. If you've got some itch that you need to scratch, give me a call. 01914 488 3188. Stacey is with us in Newcastle upon the Tyne. Hello, Stacey.
Hello.
Hello, how you doing?
I'm all right. How are you?
Good, I'm champion, thank you very much. So what are you ringing about?
Well, it was last week when you said about the work pain.
Yeah, what's yours then, Stace?
Oh, my God. Toothache, by far.
Right, what's happened?
And I've had 3 kids.
Right. So what happened with the tooth thing? Tell me the story.
So I had a pain in my mouth, so I went to the dentist.
Right.
It turned out I had an infection.
Oh, right.
It felt like my head was going to blow off.
Right.
And then for weeks on end, it just wouldn't go away.
Did they give you like antibiotics and stuff? Did they do all that thing? Right.
The one that you can't drink on, unfortunately.
All right, yeah. That's why
yeah.
you remember it, I'm guessing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I had to go back anyway because it just wasn't going away.
Right.
And it turned out I had gone to the doctors, cried my eyes out with the pain.
Right.
And I went to my doctors and I said, look, I can't get my dentist appointment again. He says, oh, no, that's not our place. So I go to the dentist eventually.
Right.
He says, you need to go to your doctors.
Oh.
Turns out I had anemia and they noticed by my tongue and the condition in my mouth.
Oh.
And it wasn't an infection after all. And the doctors had missed it, and I've been suffering it for ages.
I'm terrified to ask the question, but where do you had your mouth to catch that then?
What?
Well, I mean, what have you done with your mouth? Did you eat something nasty, or what gave you the infection? You have any idea?
No, it was like a bacterial infection.
Ah, right. So you could have got it from anything, really.
Yeah.
Right.
So, but then that had gone, and then I went back, and the was the dentist that told us I had anemia because of what was going on in my mouth. It wasn't.
So it was really the doctor letting you down because they could have sorted it if they'd have diagnosed it properly.
Yeah, and they didn't.
Cheaper. So, however, what kind of pain? Because pain, we talked about this last week when we were doing the pain. When it's in your face, it's right in the middle of your head. You cannot sleep, you can't eat, you can't concentrate on anything. It's just throb, throb, throb.
Definitely.
So, how long did it run for, all of that?
I reckon about 8 months.
Jeepers, 8 weeks would have been ridiculous.
I didn't know I had the anemia. Obviously, I got the infection in my mouth. So
Right.
But
that was a sign of the anemia that they should have picked up, though.
And I kept on going back to the dentist, and they were like, "Look, it's nothing we can deal with."
Right.
So I had to get my bloods took,
Uh-huh.
the first blood count, and then that's when they realised that it was anemia.
Horrible.
And I'd been in agony. I mean,
so what did they do though? Did they give you like tablets that helped with the anemia, or did they have to do anything more severe?
It was just the tablets, and they worked, thankfully.
Right,
I was vitamin D,
right,
and folic acid deficient.
Right.
So I had to.
Do you still have to do that regularly now, or has the condition totally cleared up?
That's cleared up now. Like this was just over a year ago.
Right, blimey. But 8 months it's like 2/3 of a wasted year, right there, isn't it?
Oh God, it is. I mean, it was half me. I did have a gum infection as well.
Sure.
But it was after that I thought the gum infection was carrying on. That the sore root of it was the anemia.
And everybody's pointing at everybody. The dentist saying go to the doctors. Doctors saying go to the dentist.
Aye.
Crazy. Well, we're glad you're better, and let's hope that never happens again. What about school, Stace? I mean, were you good at school, bad at school? What's the crack?
Good. I went to school, if that makes a difference.
That's as far as it goes, is it? Oh, dear.
I always went. I loved school. I loved school dinners. And my favourite teacher, because I've been listening, he was called Mr. Cuthbertson, and I went to Blakelow.
Right. What was special about him then?
He swore sometimes, and he was pretty cool.
He was cool and swore. That's not really the best kind of advert for a teacher, but at least it made him real, didn't it? As opposed to the rest of them, I suppose.
Well, I got my best grades out of him.
Right.
So, it's got me.
What was the subject he did?
English.
English. Well, there you go. He taught you how to talk and everything.
It was brilliant. I loved it.
Fantastic. I mean, were you a teacher's pet there, or how did it work?
No, I was like one of the middle ones. Got on with everyone.
Right.
Didn't
get into too much trouble.
Didn't mess up.
Played the middle.
If we were smoking, I would sense when the teacher was coming and I'd pass it to someone else.
So where was the place to smoke? Was it? It's either the toilets or it's outside round the back of a wall somewhere.
Well, actually, we were more blatant than that. We had this place. It was called the Arches.
The Arches.
It's literally a door. You walked out the school
Yeah.
and the Arches were there.
Right.
So if the teacher ever came out,
Uh-huh.
I mean, they did actually. But it was a bit of a rough school.
Because in our school, we were all boys, and the teachers would do, on purpose, they'd do like a trawl of the places where everybody smoked, and then they'd confiscate all of the cigarettes, not because they didn't want kids to smoke. They wanted the cigarettes. I'm sure that was the case because they'd had bags full of cigarettes by the time they were finished. And the kids never got them. It wasn't like at the end of the lesson where they'd say, "There's your 20 Rothmans back again." I mean, that never happened.
No,
I think it was just the teachers either went away selling them or smoked them themselves. That seemed to be the way.
We had definitely heard some stories about some supply teachers
Right.
coming into our school.
Yeah.
And the one with the naughty kids. Do you know when you get that class?
Yeah.
And they used to just smoke. They didn't care who was there. But the teacher had no choice but to let them. But they used to say, "Well, do it out the window so I don't get in trouble." It's horrible to look back on. The teachers must have been bullied by the kids.
Well, I think you hear a lot of that kind of stuff now, mind. It's relatively common to hear, that teachers will just keep their head down and not say anything rather than have to face up to the nasty,
Oh, definitely.
I'd hate to be a teacher. In a way, I used to think, I'd really like to be a teacher, change people's lives and everything. And then you think, what a bunch of scummers we were. How would you face kids like us? Do you know what I mean? I wouldn't know where to start. Not if I didn't have a weapon in my hand. Because they used to back in the day have a weapon in that. All right, with a cane or a stick or a bit of twine. Every teacher used to have some way of defending themselves. It seems that they don't do severe punishments now. And do you think they should?
I don't know so much about the cane, but I definitely think there should be more done.
Right.
I mean, I've got 3 kids, and my sons are in pretty strict schools, especially the eldest. He's in an all-boys school,
right?
So it's pretty strict.
Sure.
And they're like, if he steps up a foot out of line, I'm called up.
Wow.
So I think
is that a good thing?
So it should be. Mm-hmm.
Right. And is he turning out to be a good kid, or is he taking after his mum?
No, he's a good lad.
That's good news. Hey, well done. Lovely talking to you, Stacey. Thanks for coming on. Take care. Bye-bye. Bye. 0191 488 3188. We're taking a break in a second. Just before that, last week we were talking about worst pains and similar. So, we've got Foreigner having a chat about worst pains. But before that, let's get Kev on from Wallsend. Hi, Kev.
Hello, Alan. How are you doing, man?
I'm good, mate. Thank you. Tell me your story then. Where'd you go?
Tell me. Well, I went to Reedwood. In my story, I've been wondering for years if it's a man who actually shed some light on that, Alan.
Oh, go for it. What was it?
You come over and you give like a little speech, and it was kind of like to try and, I think the whole idea of it was to just to kind of try and motivate people to not sit on the door or not go down the other path and get a career that's going to send you into prison.
Right.
And the rumour has it that the entire time when you were giving your little speech and like you were like telling kids like good stories and stuff like that, you were on the edge of the stage for a reason, and that reason is that somebody had sneaked into the little room behind the stage and they've had a crap in the filing cabinet and it was absolutely stinking.
Right.
I was wondering if there's any truth on that.
it might have been me who had the... No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. I have never heard the story, and I didn't smell the smell. So I don't think that was the case. No, I'll tell you the reason why I was right at the edge of the stage and I wasn't right in the middle of it, though.
Uh-huh.
The teachers, before I went out, said, if I were you, I would stay right back from the stage because we've got one or two kids in there that are a bit unruly and they've caused problems before when we've had people visiting the school. So keep a understatement. So just stand. Well, I was a Raji from the West End. So they tell me to stand in the middle of the stage. No, I'm going to go right up in front of everybody and talk to them like they're human beings. Do you know what I mean? Because they wanted you to say, well, hold a chair and a whip just in case. You know, come on. So, and when they saw where I was standing, they all kind of looked at each other and kind of went, oh, God. You know, expecting the worst. But no, I went there because it was actually the parent of one of the kids there that sent me a letter and said, you've visited a few schools, but you've never been here. Why don't you come along? These people really need to hear from somebody like you who's been a bit of a Raji and turned his life around. Da-da-da. So that's why I was there. And I'm not aware of any secret crapper in the filing cabinet. I do think it's funny, though, and had anybody crapped in that cupboard, I would have stood there. I probably would have sat in the front row along with you guys. So there.
I feel actually really disappointed now because no truth in that whatsoever.
But those kind of things go around schools all the time, and sometimes it's better to believe the lie than it is to know the reality.
Pretend this conversation's never happened.
Keep spreading the other one. I'll back you up if anybody asks me.
I like it.
No worries. Thank you, Kev.
Cheers, Alan.
Cheers, man. Bye-bye. 0191 488 3188. Hi to Marion, who is now happily laid in bed listening to your show. Well, congratulations. I wish I'd been laid and was in bed at the present moment, but there you go. So, love to you and thanks for being with us. Good heavens. Quick thing from DJ Trig. He says, hi, mate. I remember sitting on my seat in the dinner canteen and everybody started laughing. I stood up and realised that I'd sat in some of the pink custard. It looked like I had a baboon's bottom. I also remember my teacher, Mrs. McCusker. Me and my friend Neil, we used to sit in the front row seats next to the teacher, and me and him used to both secretly let off and stink out the class. My teacher used to always comment about the smell, saying, someone needs to go to the doctor. Happy days, Alan, mate. All the best. That's really funny. We had we're talking about supply teachers. We had a student teacher come in. Her name was Miss Tag, Tagg, and she to say she was gorgeous is not true. Just I was like 13 and a half and exploding with testosterone. She was younger than all the other teachers. She was not my age, but you kind of thought there might be a chance that this 21-year-old could find this spotty 13-year-old desirable. You know, like it was ever going to happen. But she used to do these late-night classes talking about Greek myths and all of that stuff. And I was there every single lesson. Oh, dear. Even had other people do me paper round while she was there for the 4 weeks she did it. Oh, my goodness. Heart fluttering. First proper crush, I think. 13. 0191 488 3188. Tell me your stories, do. And we also have Foreigner, as promised, talking about worst pains. What's the worst thing that's ever happened to your body? So on accidents, operations, blood and screaming pain. How have you suffered for your art then, you fellas?
Does it have to happen in relation to art?
No, it doesn't. It just has to be what's the worst pain you saw. Go for it.
You know, I've been really, really lucky in my life, knock wood. I broke my pinky toe once, and I was on the beach in California playing with my Samoyed, and he jumped up and put his paw right between the fourth and fifth toe and just tore that one right out.
Whoa!
Yeah. But I'm working on a nice, good bunion right now, so I'll let you know about that one next time I talk to you.
What about you, Mick? You've got to be able to beat a little toe. Come on.
Well, I think so. Well, me too, up to a certain point, but I had never really been in a hospital, but a few years back I had to go in for a back operation. Got a nice big scar now, and the girls like it. Oh, what do I mean? Yes.
Don't you think they can only see it when they're looking at your backside?
Well, yes, actually, I've just thought of that, yeah. But it's character, personality. And,
something to remember you by as you're walking away.
Oh, yes.
As I'm walking away.
Professor Beata Kampman agrees with the government's approach.
It is plausible that a bigger interval will still work. And from a public health point of view, the decision to give a first dose to more people is the right decision at a time when really we need to cut transmission.
The Health Secretary believes lockdown restrictions will be with us for a while yet, warning we're a long, long way off them being lifted. Matt Hancock says there's early evidence they're working to control the spread of COVID-19. Hundreds of people have been caught at an illegal rave in East London, which police have called a blatant breach of lockdown restrictions. £15,000 worth of fines have been handed out. 3 more teenagers have been arrested on suspicion of murder after a 15-year-old boy was killed near his home in Birmingham on Thursday. A post-mortem has revealed Keon Lincoln died of a gunshot and stab wounds after the ambush near his home in Handsworth. In sport, Manchester United midfielder Bruno Fernandes scored a late, brilliant free kick to knock Liverpool out of the FA Cup in the 4th round. The Premier League leaders beat the champions 3-2 at Old Trafford. Tammy Abraham scored a hat-trick in Chelsea's 3-1 win over Luton. The striker is the first English player to score 3 goals in the competition for Chelsea since his manager, Frank Lampard.
It's important to go through. Clearly, it's a competition we've had success with in the modern era, and expectations are that we go through in this time. We had to get our game right, and we did.
Leicester beat Championship opposition by the same score but needed to come from behind to earn the victory at Brentford. And the lineup for the Scottish League Cup final is complete after Livingston's 1-0 victory over St Mirren. From Sky News, I'm Kat Suave.
This is the home of Alan Robson's Night Owls.
With the voice of the North.
Greatest Hits Radio.
You are with the big one, 0191 488 3188. And we are getting lots of messages in. The whole school thing is gone just fizzing, so thank you for that. Joe in Roker said, yesterday I overheard my 2-year-old son saying, "Are you sure this is a good idea?" And my 5-year-old son replying, "Trust me." And I've never moved from one room to another one so quickly in my life. And I can absolutely believe it. We are talking of many things. Promised you 4 clues that could win you one of our Night Owl mugs. And all you got to do is work out what links all 4 answers. We're looking for greatest hit links. There is something that ties the 4 answers together. You got to work out what it is. The first clue is this. This greatest hit band were staying alive and jive talking. It doesn't get easier than that. This greatest hit band were staying alive and jive talking. Name the band, write it down, and get ready for 3 more artists, and then you've just got to tell me what links the 4 artists together. If you can, if you happen to be a genius. And you'll need to be. Use all of that education that we've been talking about. 3 more clues to come. Let's see what Jackie has to say. She is in Whitley Bay. Hello, Jackie.
Hiya.
Hello, darling. So what's your story tonight?
Oh, my God. I just really, really hated school.
Why? What's the matter with it?
I used to miss off all the time.
Right. But that would mean that your mother would get letters and have to go in and all that dance, surely.
And I used to get slapped daft.
At home? Oh, dear. You've embarrassed me in front of everybody.
I left school in 1969, and I think I would have been better off going to school and not coming home and getting slapped daft by my mother.
Right, well, you must have known that was going to happen, so why did you keep wagging then?
I just didn't like school.
Right. There was...
I hated the maths teacher. You were talking about it earlier, algebra.
Yeah.
Who needs algebra?
I was just so... It just ended up being noises that he made. He'd say things like sines and cosines.
Exactly.
And my eyes would get wider thinking, is he speaking English? What is all this? I didn't get it at all, but he didn't send me home. And you cannot wag when a teacher says, stand outside the door, because you know... as soon as the bell rings, he's going to come out, make sure you're there. Oh, couldn't get away with that.
Oh, the maths teacher, we used to call him Mr. Cottonwool Head.
Right.
He used to slap me daft because I couldn't do algebra. He used to keep coming up and slapping me on the back of the head and going, you stupid child. And I'm like, oh, I'm going to get you back on this.
I was going to say, that's not exactly the encouragement you need, is it, to get a good scud? But, I mean, in the back end of the 60s, 70s, teachers used to hit you, wallop you, kick you. I mean, they hit you with belts and canes and stuff. I mean, did you ever get belted or caned?
Oh, yes. Quite a lot.
So, I mean, that was supposed to be a deterrent to stop you doing naughty things. It obviously didn't work.
My son is now 45. And he hated school as well. We lived in Cambridge.
Right.
And I used to have to take him to school in the morning, and when I dropped him off before I went to work, he used to walk around the building and nick off.
But the thing is, how can you say anything to him when he was just following in your footsteps?
Exactly.
I mean, did he do all right? I mean, has he got himself a decent job? I mean, how's his life been? Is it okay?
He's doing really well.
Good.
He started his own car valeting business.
Right. Oh, that's good. Good on him.
And he also works in a care home.
So he's, bless, right? But I tell you, he's not picked the easiest professions, because the car valeting's hit and miss, because you don't know how many people are going to be... It's one of the things you can live without, if you know what I mean.
It's miss at the moment because of the pandemic.
I bet. But blame me, he's at the front end with the care homes, I know.
It's very rewarding.
Yeah, I bet.
So, basically, I just phoned you because I thought you just made me laugh.
Because you were one of those people that wouldn't have it. You just wouldn't have it, would you?
No. This has really, really cheered me up.
But I mean, it's got to have been, you must have had some fun with your mates in school. You know, this is where you hang out with your pals and you have a laugh and a joke and stuff. Surely you got something out of it, did you not?
Oh, yes, I was very naughty.
What kind of stuff did you get up to then?
Oh, the normal stuff.
Which is?
Well, you know, getting drunk.
At school? I mean, when I was at school, I felt like it often enough, but it never had the guts. Only once it was like a Christmas. They have a Christmas party, and you sneak a drop in your bag and hide it in the locker room. And
so, will you play me some music, please?
Like what? What are you after?
Brian Ferry.
Brian Ferry. I'll have a look, see what we've got. I've already dug out a few corkers. I'll play you something nice soon. All right, Jack?
Okay, hon.
Thank you, darling. Bye-bye. Well, there you go. It's cheering her up, which is good news, because that was the plan, funnily enough. Enough of the dark. Let's put the light on. Night Owls every Sunday will be the light of your week. And we will talk of many things. Anything you want to talk about, and whatever the topic we've decided to wade into. Now, we've had a few people mentioning the dreaded blackboard rubber. If you had a dark blazer, your parents always knew if you were in trouble, because there'd be that big square off the board duster mark on your jacket that you tried to get out but doesn't quite come. What did you get the duster thrown at you for today? I didn't. Yes, you did. What was it? And your dad would give you a hammering as well.
That's right, yeah. If you went home and your dad found out you got a clout. But the bloomin', when we were in the class, many a time, you know, if you were talking to your mate whispering, many a time the blackboard rubber would come flying at you, And I mean, you know what the blackboard rubber is? It was a piece of wood with a thing on it. It was dead heavy.
Absolutely.
I mean, if that hit you square in the head, it would knock you out.
Could break your nose comfortably, and yet they flew in our direction a lot in my memory.
They used to throw it at you, yeah.
So what's your story? What do the teachers get up to with you? What did you eat? What did you wear? Where did you hang out? Where, when you left school, when your parents thought you were still at school, where did you go? Greg's? The Metro? Where did you go? 01914 3188. Edwin is in Gateshead. We're going to talk to that fella now. Hello, Edwin. Hello, Edwin.
How much you cheer people up with the show, and it's brilliant, you know.
Well, thank you very much. We're trying our best. So what are you talking about tonight then, Ed?
I think we should have a concert for the NHS stuff.
A concert?
You know, big concert or something for the theathons.
That'd be great.
It would, wouldn't it?
It would, but it's obviously going to have to be in a while, you know, because they're saying that the lockdown's going to go on. Some people are saying May minimum, probably August. So, I mean, probably as long as the last 8 months. It was about 8 months last year. Looks like about being the same this year, maybe. But a concert for the NHS makes sense to me. Why not?
Oh, it would be brilliant, wouldn't it? Just
have a big one like Live Aid was, you know, and you get everybody on. That'd be brilliant.
For the police and for the ambulance stuff and that.
Be true.
Because sometimes when I'm on the road, I'll see the ambulances, like I've seen one a day, and there was people stop where the corner house is, where the lights are at the corner house. And the cars are on the other side of the corner house. I was on the side where the corner house is. And on the other side, they're stopping. They're not sure whether they should have gone through the red. And I've done it myself, just went straight to the red to let them through. And sometimes I want to thank you, and I like to, me, I stick on the horn to thank you for letting them through. Because some are not sure whether they should, but, you know, you just see it, didn't you? You just drive through anyway to let them through, what I have.
And hope they didn't have those bus cameras that catch you.
Right. How are you then, Harry?
Yeah, I'm champion, mate. No worries.
Great,
you and your family well?
Aye, brilliant, mate.
That's good. Tell me about your school then, Edwin. Where'd you go?
Oh, God, I went to Greenwell.
All right.
I got bullied a bit, me, when I was at school. But I left. I went from there, went to Elgin. Had a good laugh there at Elgin. Like, I was only there 1 year.
Right. But that made up. Did it make up for the bullying? That's nasty.
There was one lad there who one laugh he was. I was in one lesson, the English class, and the teacher says, "Oh, she was taking the register. Where's Tony Hooker?" I was saying this on the piano square, like hands up. He was on the side on the piano square. She says, "Getting you now." He's like, taking it as if it was something you're taking out. Everybody would say, "Want to go?" And then he just looked through like that to see where he was going. And he looked and doing his pressing the book. Oh, it was a laugh, like.
Crazy stuff.
That was a good laugh.
But I mean, the bullying, did it have any consequences?
I didn't know now. I speak to the same lads now, and I see them on Facebook now. I speak to them now. I didn't let stuff there. I bother us.
No, good lad. Hey, yes, you know yourself with some people though, it carries on into your life, changes you. But you battle through it. Good lad. Hey, no worries.
No.
Anything else while you're on, then, Ed?
Edmund King, when he went to put the new roads at the new things on the motorways.
Yeah.
I think it should be away with them, like, Alan.
Oh, crazy.
Aren't they? I've seen on the, do you see the news of the day on it where there's one, the car just swerved around in another car? I think it should be away with them, like.
It's just...
He wanted to speed, the road speed up, didn't he? The speed up on the roads, I think it should be down for the lads that work on the roads and that, you know what I mean?
Sure. I can understand. I mean, if you've seen people working on the side of the motorway, some motorists, if you didn't have all of that malarkey to slow people down, they would do 70 past them and not think twice about it. But whenever you get these signs that say road calming measures, 40 miles an hour, cameras checking your average speed for the next 5 miles, it's almost like you're driving backwards. Do you know what I mean? It's just, it's going to take me 20 minutes to get through.
Crazy,
but it's...
I want to wish you all the best anyway with the supporter page. I hope you get more supporters and you get your own radio station hopefully one day. That lady just said there, he just said to her spirits, and she was by somebody who called her, so it's just going to show you what it means and what you mean to people.
Well, bless you.
due for a change, I think.
It's a nice year, Edward. We're working on stuff. Fingers crossed. You never know. The world is too crazy at the moment, but we'll crack on. Thank you very much, though, for your concern.
You've earned it well, mate.
Appreciate it. Thank you, Edwin.
No bother.
Take it easy. Bye-bye. That's sweet. 0191 488 3188. Sometimes got to do for yourself, and there may well be some of that coming in the years to come. 0191 488 3188. Greg from Southern Jesseville. I love it when people know their place. He's in Cambridge. He says, when I was at school in the 90s, I had a teacher called Mrs. Belcher. She fell over a chair once. Haven't stopped laughing about it since. When you see something like that, we had a guy called Mr. Patterson. He was the headmaster of the Lower School, John Marley Lower School in Wickham View, Newcastle. And he was one of these like toffee-nosed guys. He always looked up, and his eyes always looked like they were closed, but they weren't. He was watching you. And beginning of the reception, the assembly in the morning, everybody'd be standing up in the hall, and he'd walk through the middle, walk up the 3 or 4 stairs to get onto the stage, and then turn around. Good morning, school. And everybody would go, good morning, Mr. Patterson. And this day, somebody, knowing that he's like his nose would be in the air, had moved the stairs about 2 foot away from the stage. And as he walked up, he went 1 stair, 2 stairs, 3 stairs, 4 stairs, down the hall. It was one of the funniest things we talked about that for probably the next 2.5 years. And if ever anybody was miserable, we'd say, do you remember when Patterson did that day? Amazing. So tell me yours. We want your school stories. Just pick your phone up, man. Who? 01914 488 3188. I think I've got to take a very, very quick break. But just before I do, I've got a thing for you. It's another superstar telling their stories. And in this case, it's those Manic Street Preachers talking about the thing we talked about last week. The greatest pain. What's the worst thing that's ever happened to your bodies? Accidents, operations, screaming pain, scars, exploding pus. Tell me what you had.
You're asking the weatherman of pain, you.
I've had a bad run.
What's been the worst?
I had a prolapse disc last year.
Oh, dear.
I was touring on all these painkillers, trying to remember the notes. I've had an operation on my knee because I had to have it all cleaned out. The list goes on. Perhaps the funniest is we were about to do a radio session and James was making himself a sandwich and kind of chopped the top of his finger off.
Yeah.
Shame.
I didn't even feel it, and kind of like I just thought the ketchup bottle had spilled, and I was like, oh god. And then the little kind of sound of like high pitched wasp noise was in my head, like. I think the worst thing that happened to me physically in the band was when we were recording Send Away the Tigers in Ireland. There was a gym there, and I just thought, kind of like just the weights there. So I was on the weights for 2 days, just going, I eat weights. This is easy. And then the third day I woke up in bed and I just couldn't move my arms. I couldn't move them at all. So somebody had to, every time I did a guitar take, somebody had to place the guitar on my lap and then move my arms to the guitar.
This is the home of Alan Robson's Night Owls.
With the voice of the North.
Greatest Hits Radio.
Now, you already know you've got your first clue, if you can answer it. This greatest hit band were staying alive and jive talking. That's your first clue. Write down the name of that band. You know who it is. 3 more clues to come. You get the next clue in about 30 minutes. So get ready for it. Christine has waited ever so patiently. Let's go and talk to her immediately, if not quicker. Hello, Christine.
Hello, Alan.
Hello, my love. Thank you for waiting. Apologies, you just hit the news and we thought, oh, blimey. So we're glad we've got you. What's your story then?
School memories.
Uh-huh.
I never really liked school very much.
Right.
But I was in middle school and I had loads of school trips and I loved that. I love going on the school trips. It was just...
Where'd you go? What kind of trips did you go? The furthest I went was Blade and Burn, and we had to get in up to our knees and pick old bikes and carts out of the river. It was downright. Wasn't exciting. Where did you go to?
Oh, twice I went to London the weekend.
Wow.
Oh, that was great. You know.
Amazing.
Went to House Test in Winterlander. Went to Hexham, the lakes. And on the steamboat on the lakes.
Blimey.
Edinburgh Castle. Oh,
My parents used to get letters and said, "Do you want your Alan to go on a trip?" And then right at the very bottom it'll say, "If you do, it'll cost you whatever it'll cost you," which automatically meant, no, we don't want to go on this trip. So I went nowhere except Bladen, and the Bladen one was only like £1.40. So I got on that one. But other kids were going to Aviemore, skiing and stuff, and I'm thinking, what? Different world. You seem to manage to get about, Christine. You's tough, you.
It didn't cost like for the trips, like the day trips, but it was £50 for the London the weekend.
Right, yeah.
But
£1.30 would have been enough for my folks to say, "No, you're staying at home, man. Get used to the idea."
I mean, remember you could like pay weekly for it. So
right, all right,
like
yeah.
There's like weekly.
Yeah, that's good.
When I was here, I didn't have a lot of money, so.
Did you stay in London as well?
Yes, I went on the Friday. I left the school on the Friday morning, and I came back to the school on the Sunday night.
Brilliant. How good is that? Then you'd go back to school on the Monday morning and everybody would be buzzing about it.
I don't know why I wasn't there on the Monday morning.
Well, whenever you managed to get back to school, Tuesday, whenever.
Yeah.
So what did you do in London with a class full of hoolies then?
We went, the coast, we had like the private court, and we went round sort of Buckingham Palace. We went to see that.
Lovely, yeah.
There's sort of different Madame Tussauds.
Right, great.
The London Dungeons.
Oh, great! That's brilliant.
Things like that, and it was this.
Was Kylie Minogue on her knees then? Because I took a trip of listeners down to Madame Tussauds, and Kylie Minogue, the Madame Tussauds sculpture, not the real one, was on her knees, and you cannot blame people, but because she was on her knees with her bum in the air, thousands of people obviously had patted her bum because there was a dent in it. You know, where people had just gone whoop to Kylie on the floor. I felt sorry. I mean, I know it's wax, but what a shame. She's got a knobbly bum because everybody just wants to fondle it. Honestly, crazy. So, who was your favourite waxwork in Madame Tussauds then?
Oh,
you must have your picture taken next to somebody. Who was it?
It was that long ago now.
Yeah, I no worries, no problem. So what was your favourite lesson when you were there?
Well, it was just like a fun thing. It was like we went down because our PE teacher organised it because she liked hockey.
Right.
And there was like a hockey match going on in Wembley, so we went to Wembley.
Oh, brilliant. Hey, your school didn't have to look after you, though. That was great.
And I enjoyed that in middle school, but high school I didn't like it very much.
Right. Why? What was wrong with it?
I was getting bullied a lot.
I'm sorry.
You know, but that didn't obviously I was off 4 times when I was there, to be honest.
Well, because of the bullying,
yeah.
You always found a reason to be poorly. I can understand that. A lot of people do.
But I said in middle school, I loved it. I cried when I left there.
Yeah.
You know, when I got pulled down. But they had a reunion a while ago before they pulled it down.
Yeah.
And my school photo was up on the wall. I thought, oh no, that's me. No, that looks terrible.
But the thing is, when you go back to a reunion, you're always hoping that the other people there, who were your schoolmates, look worse than you. That's what it's really all. It's not about seeing who's done the best or anything. It's like, if I look good and they all look knackered, brilliant. Seems to be the case. Have you met any of your old schoolmates after leaving, or any of your teachers?
the teacher, the schoolmates that lived round about, so I often see them.
Yeah.
Like I found out, the best teacher I had in high form obviously passed away. I just found out last day I'd passed away.
I'm sorry.
He lived on the farm, and he used to bring ducks and geese into school.
Now, that's a cool teacher.
That was great, try to do your work when you've got like a duck hanging around and sort of say that what you think,
That's special. Special times. Hey, well, thank you for coming on, Christine.
Thank you.
Great to catch up with you. Thanks for ringing in. 0191 488 3188. Christine. And you see, this has opened another thing. Oh, there you go. Jenny Ladle has just said, my school trip was to the Roman Wall, but my grandchildren's trips were to New York. How times changed. I hope it's the New York that's along the Tyne. Because even that was further than we got. I think I did 2 in total. One of them was to a hill in Northumberland, and it was a hill because at the top of the hill there was some rocks that were interesting geologically, and none of us cared. And the other one was Bladenburn, as I mentioned. Craig says, anybody else used to write a letter excusing themselves from PE? Yeah, and sign it from your mum. Couldn't get away with it these days with mobile phones and e-notifications. Yeah, Craig. I did better than that. They sent a thing home. Now, I was lucky because I'd played the wag one afternoon when they handed the letters out. So mine was waiting there the following day, and all my mates had taken theirs home, so therefore knew what was in it. And it was a list of injections. And it says, has your son, Alan, been injected for the following? And it listed like 30 different things. The flower prick, the BCG, and all these other things that we didn't really understand what they were. And so when I got my letter, before I took it home, I'd opened it. And it says, do you want your boy, and my name was written on the top, do you want your son to get the following injections? There was like 20 injections. I know some of them were like all one injection for 4 or 5 things, but there was a lot of them. So I just ticked cross. No, in every box. And then signed it loosely the way that my mother signed her signature. And then took it back and didn't get any injection. So therefore, when everybody was getting their injection, I was the guy walking around, smacking their arm. And they'd never forget about it for about a month because it really hurts just after you've had your injury. I know he said prick, but when you got your injection. Mamstrat, how about forgetting your towel at PE? Our teacher would give us 3 paper towels to dry on while she watched the perv. Paul, school disco would sneak a bottle with vodka and whiskey or Pernod. And 35 years on, I mainly drink bottles of Gaviscon. Oh, what a shame. Still coats your tongue. And you end up talking like this with Gaviscon, don't you? Anyway, let's move on. We have Fiona, from Elsick. She's from my part of the world as well. Hi, Fiona.
Hi, Alan.
Hello, love. So, tell me your school. Which school did you go to then?
Oh, Leamington School, Leamington, West End.
How did you go to Leamington from Elsick? Elst, that's a fair way away. Or were you living in Leamington at the time?
Right, what school did you go to?
Atkinson Road, down Armstrong Road.
All right, well, Leamington First School was my first school.
Right.
I lived in Leamington for like 20 odd years.
Right up, brilliant, right.
And then after that, I moved, like, but after that, you go to like a big school, but before that school was like a little school, and you went to like a bigger school. It was like one big school.
All right, I see.
I hated it.
What was so wrong with it? Come on.
Bullies, I didn't like bullies.
Right, there's no excuse for that. Yeah, absolutely.
I used to pin the bullies, and I used to go to the head. I used to always get to the headmaster and things like that. And I had the belt. I was up at the headmaster's nearly every day.
Did they give you? Did they do anything to help you at all?
No, not really. I just didn't like bullies. I just didn't like bullies picking on
other people too. No
money off them or stuff like that.
Yeah.
It wasn't right.
And loads of teachers I used to talk about this, and teachers would ring in saying, "Oh, that doesn't happen today." Bet it does. Bet it does in every school, that kind of stuff, yeah.
But I used to get hide at the back of the class. There was a few who got hide at the back of the class. If you weren't brilliant enough, you got hide at the back of the class.
Was that? I mean, I bet they didn't say that to you. If you're not brainy enough, back row's yours.
No, but we knew. But like when I did leave 11th first school, we ended up going to Wallbottle School. That was a big school.
Yeah.
And I never got a chance to go to that school, and that's why after that I hated school. I ended up going to special schools all my life.
Oh, bless you.
So that built up anger inside of us, because I thought I was being punished because I was chinning the bullies. That's the way I seen it. So I went to special schools all my life.
Right.
I went to Walton School, Westland School, then St Aidan's. I got kicked out of St Aidan's School. I went to Silver Hill.
Right.
That was an old girls' school.
Was this all for bashing bullies essentially?
No, for being sick.
Or for being all right? You were off a lot.
No, I wasn't really enough. They never give enough. The classes were big back in the days. Well, I think I know, but they didn't have time for you.
Right.
If you weren't brainy enough, you got hide at the back of the class.
I'm aware of classes like back in the day of like 35, 40 kids, and I can remember being in classes that size.
There was about 3 who got hide back at the back of the class. And
Right.
at the end, when I went back to Silver Hill, I got kicked out the last 2 years because it was an old girls' school. It was a special school.
Right.
And there was nuns there. There was a sister there. We used to call her Whippet. That was her nickname because she was skinny. But I got kicked out the last 2 years, and I got kicked out.
You called the nun Whippet because she was skinny.
She would give her a nickname. She was a nun. It was just beside the school. Actually, the Silver Hill School was beside the Fox and Hounds at the back.
Yeah.
But it's not there now. It's been knocked down.
Yeah, it's good.
But I got kicked out there the last 2 years, and I thought, get in. But I ended up getting. I ended up getting tutored for 2 years, for 2 hours a day.
Well, that sounds pretty good. I mean, did you enjoy it? Did you have the rest of the time to yourself? How did it work?
Well, I still can't read very well. I just manage.
Right.
And you make important things that they learn you to do. I actually done it. I done a plug. You know, you put the fuse in it. I did a plug.
Right.
Aye. I don't know why, but I was doing the plug with me tutor.
Right.
So I thought like getting tutored every 2 hours is like posh, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. Like, people pay a fortune for that kind of thing.
I never learned that much.
No.
I didn't like it. I was angry anyway, all my life with the school and all that, but I got the dust hangers as well at the school. The dust for them wood ones off my head.
It's traditional, absolutely. We've all been through that war, definitely. I mean, did you get anything at all out of any of the places you went, or the private tutoring? Did any of it stick?
Yeah, I talk very posh.
You mean you talk very posh for Elsick?
No, I talk very posh because I got tutored.
Because
you get tutored these days.
Yeah, I was talking to my private tutor the other day. Could you imagine that in the West End? Hell's bells. Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
I want about pains and all that, operations that you have.
Yeah. Go on then.
I actually had, my nose has been broke that many times, so my tubes down me, your windpipe or whatever, they closed up, so they had to break my nose, reset it, they had to cut this open, lift it up, and then I put these tubes down at the back of it.
Yeah.
So I had to walk around looking like Mike Tyson, and these tubes down up my nose and back my throat for a few weeks. And then they had to pull them out when I was awake, when they finally. But the operation didn't really work.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that doesn't sound fun at all. Horrible.
No, it wasn't fun, no, but I've got to snort Vaseline every night.
You've got a what?
Snort Vaseline every night.
Snort Vaseline?
Vaseline. You put it in your nose and you snort it and it goes down your tube. Because if I blow my nose too much, it bleeds.
Right.
So I do it on the night time, I snort Vaseline, and then when I have a shower in the morning, it relaxes me the tubes.
Yeah.
And I can pull it in the. I know it sounds disgusting to do it in the shower, but
so you snorted up the Vaseline and then you snot it out when you have a shower.
Yes, it comes out just natural, and I feel like as if I can breathe.
Right.
No blood or nothing like that, and it's a lot easier. And you don't even blow your nose all day. You don't have to because I'm already had blood.
I mean, I'm glad you feel better for it. It's just everybody that heard you say that feels worse now. But thank you very much for coming on.
Well, I was terrible for class 2 years. I'm posh, so you were there too for you.
I've learned how to hockle Vaseline thanks to my private tutor. Brilliant.
I do hockle. I snot it out.
You snot it out. Well, that's actually worse than
snot
hockling.
it out,
Yeah.
Alan, it's snot it out.
Is this when you hold your nose and just go through your nostrils? Is that what you do?
You see blokes, you know when blokes walk down the street and they get one nose and they shove their nose.
Yeah.
You do that. That's what I do in the bath. But I wouldn't. I'm not. I know I'm posh, but I wouldn't do that walking down the street.
No, of course not. Of course
I
not.
tried it once and I'll never do it again because I went all the way down my jacket. I've got to have a try. See if I can do it, but I couldn't.
Hey, you've got to do what you got to do, lass. That's just how it is. But I'm glad you rang and told us about it. Thanks for ringing in. Cheers, Fee.
Take care, nice talking to you, Alan.
Always a
Bye.
pleasure. Thanks, Fee. There in Elsick. The things you got to do. She snorts Vaseline. I'm in an industry where people snort all kinds of things, but Vaseline? No. Tracy Ken's King says, tonight I'm mostly keeping out of mischief and wide awake on night shift with massive amounts of coffee and the handsome devil. The Night Owl, Alan Robson, Flashing Blade, Greatest Hits Radio, Get to Those Phones, and a picture of the old autobiography. Thank you very much. Thank you, Tracy. And good to hear the word hockle again. It's not a word that gets used here in Hull. Neil J. Fleming. Fleming? That's probably what they call it in Hull. Instead of hockling, I was Fleming. 01914 88 3188. Ah, yes, I know you feel bilious. Let's crack on. Also, Mark says, he's talking about, I thought he was talking earlier about something else. He's talking about, he's on job seekers and PIP. Can somebody help? I get help with council tax. Is it true the maximum amount you're allowed to save is up to $6,000 before your benefits are affected? I don't know the answer to that. If you do, please help him. And somebody just said, I just missed that last tweet you put up on the screen there, Tony, saying it's good to see our Alan doing his thing. Well, whatever this is. And Craig is with us. He is in Cramlington. Let's head that way. Hi, Craig.
Hello, Alan. How we doing, mate?
Good, man. What can we do for you?
Hey, I tell you one thing, Alan. Next time I'm feeling under the weather, I'm going straight for the Vaseline, mate.
Gotta say, good luck with that.
No, snorting Vaseline. No, I don't like it, but if it works, it works.
Whoa, right. So what you on about then?
I'm just ringing about me band, Alan.
Tell me everything.
Funny enough, actually, you had us on a couple of years back. I think we were still at Metro at the time.
Uh-huh.
So we've got a new single coming out, which is the main reason for calling.
Tell me everything. What's the name of the band?
Band's called the Jet Reds.
Yeah.
So we're all from different sort of corners of the northeast. We've got one of the lads in Wallsend. I'm in Crampton with the drummer, the guitarist over in Ashton.
Right. What's the style? What's the style of the band?
Indie rock and roll, I guess.
Indie rock and roll. Great.
Yeah. The likes of Oasis and all the Manchester stuff kind of got me into music and that. So there's some similarities there, I would have said.
So what's the new single then? Tell us all about it.
It's called Pamela, and it is out on the 1st of Feb.
Great.
On all streaming platforms. So for listeners who's into that sort of stuff, if you head to the Facebook and Instagram page, there's a little teaser up there. Yeah.
So who's Pamela? You usually write these things about people. Who's Pamela?
Right, there's a story here, mate. You'll have to bear with us, right?
All right.
So we're just in the rehearsal studio before the lockdown and stuff came in last year, and the song just sort of organically happened in the studio as we're prattling about, really. It just sort of was born then.
Right.
The reason it's called Pamela is, the League of Gentlemen.
Yeah.
The character and that's called Pamela Doob.
Yes.
So we're midway through playing the song, and the bass player Marty
midway through the song, and I don't know where it came from, he just blurted out one of the lines off the League of Gentlemen, one of Pamela Douve's lines.
Right.
And we're sort of rolling around laughing at it and like, what is it? And he told us he's a League of Gentlemen fan, so it just happened because of that. Basically, the song's got nothing to do with that.
No.
But we thought we're gonna have to name it this.
Pamela was born.
That's how
and that's how Pamela was born. Brilliant.
And that's how Pamela was born.
So
the
it's on all platforms. Jet Reds, Pamela, find it, listen to it, and then let me know what you think of it, everybody, as well. Make sure you do that. Then I'll do the reviews for you.
Yeah, that'd be good, mate. Yeah, like I said, all of our social media and that, so you can get a little teaser of it.
Brilliant.
On Facebook and Instagram.
Top man. Great. Let's hope it works out for you. It'd be good when you can start doing it live, though.
Mate, it's been comfortably the longest we've been without gigging. Like, it was almost to the day a year ago since we last played.
Scary. Let's hope it's soon. Thanks for coming on, Craig. Regards to the lads as well. Cheers.
Cheers, Al. Nice one, mate. All the best.
Nice one. Bye-bye. There you go. Just remember the name, Jet Reds. And Pamela is coming out soon. Piece of music. Before that, as you know, we talk to the stars. Oh, yes, we do. This is a corking bit of music we're about to play. And what's it about? Well, the Pet Shop Boys talking about, like, spooky things.
Scariest places on earth. My scariest place would be somewhere I feel claustrophobic. Like getting trapped in a lift or something like that. I really, really hate that.
Yeah, what about you, Chris?
I'm pretty scared of heights. There's, you know, if you go on the Revolution on Blackpool Pleasure Beach.
Yeah.
You know, there's a little bridge from the staircase to the bit where you get on the ride.
You get on, yeah.
Well, if there's a queue and you get stuck on that, and all there is a little wobbly handrail, and you feel like you could just jump off, that for me is pretty terrifying, really. I'm all right if I'm actually in something, you know, with the safety belt on and everything, like the big one. But if I feel that I could just fall off or jump, then I get pretty scared. We once did a photo session on this roof in Los Angeles, and for some reason I just froze, and I don't know how I got down.
Because things like that, and it's like if you look off a bridge and you get that kind of tumbling feeling. It makes
why wouldn't you jump? That's what I think. Yeah. Why wouldn't you jump?
Makes your testicles clench.
Really?
Well, just a statement. Okay. Next thing is, obviously, the show we do puts American families into haunted places. Have either of you ever seen a ghost or had any kind of weird experience?
I can't think of anything. It'll come back to. I have some weird experience like this.
Oh yeah, there is.
What is it?
It's your séance.
Oh, it's my séance.
What happened?
When I was, it's not a haunted house, I'm afraid. When I was 16,
going on 17,
we had a séance. My parents went away on holiday, and some friends came over, and we had a séance. And we got this, you got the glass on the table, and we said, "Who are you?" And it spelt out Oscar Wilde.
Whoa.
And then it spelt out this phrase. It said, "My dear children, you are so young. Do not make my mistakes."
That must have taken forever.
It did. And then we said, "Are you happy?" And he went, and the glass went, "No."
Oof.
And anyway, it was a spooky experience. And then this friend of mine said, "Will I become famous?" And it went, "No." And I said, "Will I become famous?" And it said, "Yes."
There you go.
That was kind of spooky. I don't think it's what you want, but anyway.
No, but it'll do. Thank you very much.
It's the closest you're going to get.
In London says frontline staff are struggling to cope.
I feel like I want to cry in many moments. I mean, I can't do my job properly. I mean, lots of people are passing away, and you have to keep doing your job when you have a gentleman or a lady that is passed away and is lying next to you.
Another 610 people have died after testing positive for COVID-19 in the past 24 hours. Figures show there were also another 30,000 new infections. Almost 1 million people across the UK have had their first coronavirus vaccine in just the last 2 days, taking the total to over 6 million. The government's reminding those who've had their jab they need to stick to lockdown rules as they still could carry the virus. Police in London say they've handed out more than £15,000 of fines after breaking up an illegal rave. More than 300 people were at an event under a railway arch in Hackney. In sport, Liverpool manager Jurgen Klopp still without a win at Old Trafford after losing 3-2 to Manchester United in the FA Cup fourth round. It leaves the Premier League champions with just one win in their last 7 matches in all competitions.
If you're in a situation you don't like, you want to get out of it, and we want to get out of it, and for that you have to make steps, and tonight we made steps, not the final ones, but we made steps, and that's for the moment okay.
Elsewhere, Chelsea, Leicester, Everton and Burnley all went through. And Livingston will face St Johnstone in the Scottish League Cup final after a 1-0 win over St Mirren at Hampton Park. The decider will take place next month. From Sky News, I'm Kat Suave.
And I'm Alan Robson. This is Greatest Hits Radio Northeast. Thanks for being with us. And don't forget, there is money to be won if you join our breakfast show. Tomorrow morning, we got all kinds of competitions and some incredible music. If you were listening just before I came on, Misha Paris running his show. I thought Chris Eubank on there was stunning. And we got some real gems worth looking out for. And don't forget, if you miss anything, you can always go to the website and have a re-listen to some of the very special shows they're putting out at the moment. But let us get to the calls, but not until I've given you your first and second clue that could win you one of our Night Owl mugs. Clue number 1, this greatest hit band was staying alive and jive talking. Okay? So write down the name of that band. Second artists for you to find. This greatest hit band recorded albums called Revolver, Rubber Soul, and The White Album. Okay? This greatest hit band recorded albums called Revolver, Rubber Soul, and The White Album. Okay? 2 clues, 2 massive superstar greatest hit bands. 2 more to come, and then you tell me what they all have in common. Okay? See if you can do it. Anyway, let's crack on. We have Valerie from Newcastle upon the Tyne. Hi, Valerie.
Hello, Alan. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you. I hope you and your family are well.
Not too bad at all, yeah.
Jolly good. So what you got for us all then?
I wanted to talk about, I've seen you on about schools. I went to John Morley Lower, Pendow, and then my last year, John Morley Upper.
Right.
And to talk about how atrocious schools were. I won't name, obviously, any teachers or anything.
All right. What was so wrong with it? Because I remember the lower school. In the lower school, when I was there, the boys were on the left and the girls were on the right. But I would imagine by the time you got there, they were all mixed together, were they?
They weren't at that school, but the teachers just were lazy. I thought they were very lazy. You know, they didn't really... If you didn't learn, you know, they weren't bothered about you learning, you know, and the worst one was actually John Morley Upper. We had to go there. Do you remember it was an old boys' school? It
was an old boys' school all the time I was there. They went to becoming a boys and girls' school the year that I left, and I think they presumed that women could be safer if I'd left before they brought them.
It was terrible when the teachers took her for a look round. The boys were ramming trolleys into her and they didn't want her in their school.
Yeah.
And what teachers there? Well, maths teacher spent his time smoking in the class and didn't bother teaching her anything. He just said, don't tell on us and smoke. That was the maths teacher, which was great. You know, we thought that was cool because we didn't have to do any work.
Right.
But looking back now, I think it was terrible, really.
Well, I mean, they weren't, and I know as kids you get away with what you can get away with, but when you leave school, you realise that they weren't doing you any favours by not educating you.
That's right. And the other one was were PE teacher and the boys' PE teacher. He was a well-known one who everyone will know him I'm talking about.
Yeah.
He kicked our teacher and he punched her because he wanted the hall for the boys and she wanted it for the girls, and they physically fought in front of her. And, you know, we were like, she said teacher's fight as well. And, I mean, you know, you wouldn't get away with that now.
No, not for a
That
second.
was atrocious, you know.
If it was the same teacher that was the sports teacher that was there when did the surname begin with D?
It did. It did.
Right. Because
Really not nice.
when I was there, this guy, one of my mates said, I'm really not feeling well. And of course, the teacher instantly thinks, well, he's obviously lying. He's a boy.
Yeah.
And he said, you're going to do... He says, no, I've got a note from my mother. I've been to the doctors. I'm on antibiotics. I'm feeling rough. But I've come into school because I can do the sit-down desk stuff. I'm just not up to running around. And he got a rugby ball. And from about 2 yards, wouldn't be any more than that, he kicked the rugby ball at this kid, knocked him like 4 yards and sliding across the gym floor. And everybody just kind of sharp intake of breath and then lifted the kid up and took him into the changing room where he crying and upset. You'd never get away with that kind of stuff for a million years.
He gave my brother a lot of stick as well.
But you see, it was different. I mean, I'm talking 20, 30, 40, yeah, I mean, a lot of years ago.
Yeah.
A lot of years ago. And the way that teachers seem to survive in the rougher schools, they had to give them a bit of tough love, and they were strapping them and caning them and slapping them sometimes. But that was just what went on.
The way we were brought up. I remember sitting in the maths class with a different maths teacher and mind my own business, doing me work, and along came a ruler cracked across my hand. I looked and I thought, I haven't even done anything wrong. That was just because he felt like it. Because he was in a bad mood that day, you know.
Yeah. I mean, the sports, my memory of the sports, and I actually liked the guy. And I know that a lot of people probably wouldn't. I actually liked this teacher. I thought he was tough, but the kids were tougher. You know, they were nasty. We had a nasty bunch of lads in.
Yeah.
And they were just a nasty bunch of... there was like 2 layers of the school, the top 2 that were all right. And then after that, it just got worse and worse and worse. And yeah, teachers had to be, I mean, they put up with a lot of...
It was hard. I mean, it worked both ways, I suppose.
Yeah,
when you think about
but when it came to sport, I loved the sport. I loved the football. I played for the team. I played for the rugby team, played for the cricket team. Loved all of that. And because of that, you could kind of see where he was driving people. And sometimes all of the teachers at schools around that time were questionable things, I suppose. They'd be questioned today, certainly.
Oh, yeah, they wouldn't get away with half. And I mean, it may just have been the way they were taught in them days,
yeah,
but
maybe.
You just wouldn't know. The other bit of it, you were on about school trips, as good as ours got was a trip down the Tyne. It was 2 hours each way right down the Tyne.
Were you on a boat, though?
On a boat, yeah.
On a bus by the Tyne?
No, it was on a boat, yeah. It was a trip down the Tyne.
Right.
It was okay, you know, it wasn't the worst trip in the world, but that was as good as it got.
Right. No, because I remember feeling hugely inadequate when the thing came round saying, does your little hero want to go on this trip? And of course everybody says yes. Where are we going? We're going up to Scotland to Aviemore. We're going to teach everybody how to ski. Now, I mean, to a little bandit from Benwell,
same as me,
you would think this is James Bond does that. Nobody I know has been. I mean, most people hadn't even been on a holiday, let alone, you know, skiing. The only time you see that's Sean Connery in one of Roger Moore in a James Bond film. And I go home and pleaded my case. Now look, everybody, you know, you always say everybody's going, and of course there was about a good half the class that weren't because they couldn't afford it, and we couldn't afford it either. So you're sitting in the classroom, and half the class aren't there. and the teacher that usually teaches you isn't teaching you. It's like the biology teacher who's just come over to look after you because your English teacher's having a whale of a time on the slopes. Oh, it made you feel so... I mean, talk about, they try to say that you go to school and everybody's equal. Mm-hmm. No, certainly wasn't in our kind of school, was it then?
My mum and dad they weren't working at the time, and we couldn't go on the trips the same as you. And I remember in the school dinner hall, it was one of the teachers. She said, "I want all people on free dinners in a line here, all people who pay here." And I was so embarrassed. I wouldn't go and have my dinner. I just stayed in the yard. I was too ashamed for people to know that I was getting a free dinner.
Well, I feel exactly the same way about it. And to me, I knew what it meant to get free dinners. I mean, come on, you're not stupid. And then some people would take the pee out of you because your parents or your dad must be, and all of, put up with all of that. And eventually I just stopped picking up the thing, and everybody thought, oh, Alan's parents must be doing better. He's not on school dinners. And it just meant I didn't have any dinner.
Same here.
I'd ask me mum for a jam sandwich and say it's for playtime, when in fact it was for me dinner,
It's awful, isn't it, though? But
I
suppose it's one of them things. I was going to, just quickly, if it's okay, just mention as well, I've been quite ill in the last year.
Oh, I'm sorry, what's been up?
Well, I've had a serious high blood pressure, blood clots, and quite a bit of things like that. And I just wanted to see how well I've been treated at the hospital.
Which hospital?
The RVI.
RVI is great.
It's been amazing with not having so many people in. I was treated like royalty.
Right.
You went in, you straight in. The doctors all spent ages with you. Some of the nurses were bringing you treats and were so kind. Right. I cannot even explain how kind. It's the nicest treatment I've ever had. I felt like I was a private patient the way they had treaters,
Is this because it was during all the lockdowny thing?
Yes.
So there wasn't, the hospitals weren't doing very much, so they had more time for you.
They had loads of time for you,
That's good.
More than I've ever had in my entire life, and you came out feeling like good because you thought, I had all this special treatment that made you feel like special, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, though.
No, it's lovely. It's lovely when it happens. When my mum was ill towards the end of her life, I had to spend a bit of time taking her in and out of hospitals like you do. Mm-hmm. And she was probably the only negative I could say about the RVI, because the staff were great. I mean, they were top class. And this was not at a time of lockdown, so it was really, really super busy. It was just the thing that they did. They said to me the night before when I came in to see her, I said, when's my mum coming out? And they said, she'll be out tomorrow. The doctor will say around about 10 o'clock, and all he's got to do is sign the form, and she's away. So, of course, I get there 9:30, ready to pick her up and take her home. And she's sitting on the bed. The nurses have got her ready, and the doctor, just waiting for the doctor. Doctor didn't turn up till 6:25 in the afternoon, even though I kept saying, is there another doctor? Do you know what I mean? Is there another doctor that can sign? Because it was just sitting here, and she's sitting on a chair, and they ended up having to give her a dinner, and then ended up having to give her a tea. And I'm bouncing back and forth because I had other stuff to do. There's got to be an easier way. You'd have thought.
That is a lot, that, I must admit. I mean, the only negative, I would say, a few times they said they would give us a ring at home, and them calls never came.
Sure, right.
But the actual treatment when I went in, even as an outpatient, they kept bringing us all these treats and things.
That's brilliant.
And one of them, she said, oh, how are you getting home? And I went, oh, well, I just walk. I don't live far from there. And she went, you won't. She said, I'll get you a taxi, a free taxi. And I thought, free taxi? I couldn't believe it, I thought this is
brilliant,
amazing,
Absolutely.
The only thing, just before I go, is I still think the figures the government are giving out for the COVID are not quite right. And I want to know what's happened to the winter flu.
Right.
How come...
Well, the winter flu, mind, in fairness, is one of those things that lots of newspapers and lots of press people have said, people don't have flu now, it's all being put down to COVID. We've read those reports out on the show before, and yet we're told, and again, this is coming from the medical specialists that cover the Northeast, they say there's still flu, and it's still as dangerous as it's ever been. Just it's affecting people that have had COVID tests, so some of them are registered, but it hasn't gone away. And it's just one of the many things. COVID lowers your resistance to it. Flu comes in and finishes off the job. It's like pneumonia and a lot of the other things. So you got to be super careful. But the good thing was, when you went into the wards, they obviously weren't taking patients at that time, so you got to... Very, very spectacular treatment. No, of course, yeah, of course.
But apart from your mask, anyone who did go on a ward on the day that I was an outpatient had to have a COVID test. But it's just that you feel like, I don't know, the figures just don't seem quite add up to me.
There's a lot of people questioning.
Yeah. Anyway, thanks for your time.
Hey, no problem.
I just wanted to say you're a little ray of sunshine. I wish you were on a little bit more.
Well, bless you. A lot of people feel that way, but thank you very much indeed. Love having you on. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Valerie there. Well, yeah, we've just got to talk about lots of other things. The whole COVID thing's doing it. It's going to run its course. We're going to get out the other end, and hopefully our love to you, stay strong, stay fit, stay well. That's all I want. You and your family to be good at the end of all of this, and let's come out the other side. Got a lot of messages. Let me just try and wade through them. You know, we mentioned the word hockle before. If you've got any other good northern words you want to share with us, feel free to do that too. Janie, Neil Fleming's wife in Hull, said the word for hockling in Hull is gozzing. They're gozzing, which I suppose is a bit like gobbing. Gozzing. She's obviously a classy lady, and she knows it. She entertains us, and we appreciate it. 20th Century Gaming says, Alan, do you remember a band called Index? I do. And one of his mates was in that band. And The Pale White, it's a local band doing good. Stefan says, you should be on 6 nights a week. Well, I think that too. If not, 8 nights a week would do. So there you go. Let us crack on. Emails, plenty of them too. Amy says, the worst pain I've had was a dry socket after having a tooth extraction. I was in agony, couldn't sleep, could hardly eat, was on 2 loads of antibiotics. Wouldn't wish it on anybody, says Amy. Dry socket. I think I had that problem on one of my honeymoons, but that's a separate story. Also, Greg says, when I was at school in the 90s, and, we've done that one, that's Mrs. Belcher. Don't need to hear that again. And there's another one. This is Harvey, who's just basically saying he's loving the school thing. Thank you, Harvey. And Anonymous, the next one. Dear Alan, at school I witnessed other children getting the cane, the slipper, the ruler across the hand, getting dragged down the corridor by their ear and being shouted at aggressively. My brother came home from school one afternoon and he told me that during the games class that day, the teacher had slapped a boy across the face because he was too anxious to get on the exercise horse. And school showers, what on earth were they about? I'm not surprised that some adults suffer from post-traumatic stress and are genuinely suffering. As a result, some teachers should be ashamed of themselves and were definitely in the wrong job. Can you imagine this happening today? They'd be sacked on the spot and reported. There you go. Boom. Now, if you mention school showers, you also have to mention towel flicking. We can't have been the only one. You'd get a wet towel, you just dried yourself, and then you tried to flick the end of somebody's penis with the towel. If you got a nice little wet one, towel I mean, you could really get a good flick. And if you did manage to hit a bullseye, either on the end or in between the twins, they'd go down like a sack of potatoes. It was probably one of the few sports that most kids in my school were capable of. It was, but you had to be really careful because you get a kid, then two other kids come for you. Blimey. And did you, this is probably too personal, did you ever have a kid in the shower who'd grown up like 3 years quicker than you, but was in your year? And you see them in the shower, and he had a pork sausage and you had a prawn. Do you know what I mean? Anyway, 0191 488 3188. Do tell. That's boys' school stuff. What was it like in the girls' showers? You girls just don't tell us them stories, and we demand them. We demand them tonight. Give Chris a call. 0191 488 3188. Sue is in Washington. Hello, Sue.
Hello, Alan.
Hello there. What's your story for us tonight, then?
Well, I've got quite a few.
Okay.
First of all, I've got a couple of jokes, right?
Okay, brilliant.
The man from the Dulux painting factory, they found him dead on top of a mountain, really high, really cold mountain.
Right.
And when they found him, they said he should have had two coats on.
Oh, very good. Very good.
And what has an orange tan and smells?
What has an orange tan and smells? I don't know.
Trump. Ta-da!
I didn't get that. Trump?
Trump.
Oh, just Trump. Oh, that's all right. He's gone now. We can talk about him. Right.
And also the other week, he was on about, well, it was a few weeks ago now. I'll try and say it in how the Geordies say it. Dirty habits.
Yes.
Dirty habits. And he was on about the finger in the air.
Yeah, absolutely.
The finger dipper, no, the ear dipper, finger licker. Anyway, after you told that story, I was talking to my mum the next day, and I said, oh my God, you must be psychic. And she had a phone call, and obviously they got the wrong number, and they were saying, so that was a little old lady saying, do you do ear syringing?
Right.
So my mum said, no, you've got the wrong number. Oh, she said. She said, but look, she said, I don't do it. She said, but if you go and get a stick outside, stick it in, that'll soon clear it. That's what we must.
Because they used to call that thing, and I know some people do this as like a practical joke, it's called a wet willy, where you lick your forefinger.
Yeah.
And then you just walk up to somebody and you just stick your wet finger in their ear and go from side to side. It's horrible if anybody's ever done it. It's really not a pleasant thing. But then I think you've got a toxic finger. You cannot give that another lick. You've got you really need to kind of get a wet wipe or something to sort that sucker out. But a wet willy was the name we gave them. I don't know whether other people have other terms for it. Right. What else then, Sue?
Pain from last week.
Yep.
I think the worst pain for me up until now was when I had the gallstones, and that went on for months.
Did you get them out?
I had the gallbladder removed. Yeah. Oh God.
Right. And I bet it rattled by the time they got it out. Did it like maracas?
I don't know. I just said, knock it out and just get it out. And then I can have fish and chips, you know.
Yeah, the price is, look, we're going to have to cut you with a knife. Look, I want me fish and chips. Get on with it. Absolutely.
It was because I'd had the pain for months and months and months.
Yeah.
And I never even went to the doctor. I just ate Rennies because I thought, it's wind.
Right.
You know, and it was after everything, honestly, it's horrendous. After everything that I ate, the pain would start, and it would, it felt like wind, because that would start in the tummy area, and then it would travel and go up my back, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, God, and it wasn't until we drove down to King's Lynn.
Right.
And, I was doubled up. Honestly, I woke up and I was absolutely doubled up, and they got an ambulance for us.
Right.
And they did an ultrasound, and that's what they found. And then, obviously, all got passed on to my doctors up here.
Right.
And I had the operation. That was 2012. I had the operation.
Yeah.
So Yeah, but that's horrendous pain. That like.
No,
I kept saying,
me mum had that operation when I was still living at home, so it was a lot of years ago. And
God.
she was, when she came back out of hospital, she was literally on the couch for about 3-4 weeks when she came back, because she was in, the aftermath of it was an ugly thing to see.
Well, you have to have try and do a low-fat diet, cut out all grease as possible.
Yeah.
And even when you've had the operation, for a few weeks after, you can't eat greasy things because it just goes straight through you. And honestly, it was horrendous.
Right.
But the pain, I wouldn't wish it on anyone.
No, nasty. So
You
what
wouldn't
about
wish it on
school,
anyone.
Sue? I'm sure you went.
But I didn't learn much because, like the other caller, I just didn't have the brains, and the teachers just give up on you in the end, and I think I did more Sky than going.
Yeah,
than going to school in the end.
There was a
and
lot,
I was
of that.
I was a little cheeky one as well, and there was a maths teacher who would just just get on with your cheek, and he just let us get on with it. And but I did have a lot of stand-in parades, and it was like in the big main hall of the school.
Yeah,
that was punishment. I had loads of them, and you'd have to stand facing a wall for however long you were put there for, and then other pupils that walked through, they knew you'd been in trouble. Many detentions, loads of detentions, and I think the funniest one that sticks in my head is it was a Tuesday afternoon after school, sitting in the room, doing whatever I was doing for the detention, and all of a sudden I heard these feet coming in, and I looked, and there's my mum and dad walking across the hall. Oh yeah, but my dad had just more or less got home from fishing. He'd done his job, and he went in the pub for a couple of pints, and that was when the bravery came out of him, when he'd had a little drink, and so him and my dad came walking across the hall. My dad came in the room, and he said, "Come on, up, you're going home." And then all of a sudden, there was the PE teacher who was only tiny. He had little round glasses, and he used to wear a purple tracksuit with yellow stripes down the leg.
Right.
So he come marching. He says, "What's going on? What's going on?" So my dad said, "She's coming home. I'm sick of her being in these detentions. And who's put you in the detention?" So I told him who it was, and right, we'll take you up there now and to see the deputy head.
Right.
So off he marched with Mum and Dad. "You stay there," he said, and off they. My mum said it was funny. My dad was hitting his fist off the teacher's desk.
Right.
He was really, really angry. Because what that was all for. They used to pick on me, and there was always the popular girls,
right?
Who were allowed to get away with anything. Like came into school, thick makeup, big earrings, rings, and I had one little signet ring.
Right.
And they used to put us in detention for wearing this signet ring, and yet there was this other girl with thick makeup and that, and
double standard, isn't it? It's not fair.
Yeah, and I hated it. I mean, me and my friend learnt to skies, and we'd go in one gate, get registered, and nick off out the other.
Yeah, we had the same thing. You do your registration where you, Robson, yes sir, champion, and as soon as you get out the door, you're supposed to go to history or maths or wherever you're supposed to go, but instead you wait till everybody else is gone. You nip in the loo when the corridors are clear. That little creep out of the back door. Then it's almost like Mission Impossible. You're walking along the wall with your hands at the back of the wall, hoping that the spotlight doesn't come on you through the little hole in the fence. Greg's! Where's Greg's? Yeah, oh, blimey, happy days. Happy days.
Yeah, I just hate it. But I want to ask, what are people doing to, like, if they're not going to work and in the lockdown, what are they doing to keep themselves motivated?
Right.
Have they took up any hobbies or anything? Because I do. I've done jigsaw puzzles. I read. I've binge watched The Crown on Netflix. I've took up cross-stitching, which is absolutely brilliant. I've never done it in my life.
Right.
I thought, I might as well do it, and I'm quite enjoying it, and passes the time away.
Well, let's find out what other people. What have you done that you don't normally do to fill your time while we're all incarcerated? Okay, we'll see if we can find out soon. But thank you for coming on. Glad you got it all out. 3 weeks worth of waiting there. Well done. Thanks again, Sue.
Thanks so much, Alan.
Take care. Bye-bye. Angela Nichols just said hated school, especially maths, and I had a brace. Had to get it tightened every month. Used to walk around the cemetery to kill time. This was way back in the 80s. Then, if I was too early, I'd hide in the bog till double maths was over. Yeah. There was a lot of waiting around. Gina Pocket, girls in showers. We had showers at school. We used to put a leg in, then out, before she came back. Hate showers. Yeah, there was some people keep their towel on, just stick a leg in, so it looked like they'd been in. There was a little bit of drippy water happening. But no, we lads used to get in there. But as I say, some develop at different stages. And then, of course, as soon as you get out the shower, you're in towel flicky territory. So serves you right if you get got. And obviously, the bigger the target, the more it got flicked. That was a fact. 0191488 3188. We got Carol. She's in Felling. Hello, Carol.
Hi, Alan.
Hello, darling. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
We're good. We're good on this end. Thank you kindly. Tell me about your school then, Carol.
Well, it was called Hewitt-Modern.
Right.
But I think the last day at school they changed it to Hewitt's Grange Comprehensive.
You have indeed, right.
But Mr. Madden was a really good teacher.
Right. Good. What did he teach?
Why, he was sort of he set plays up and everything like that.
Right, so English and literature probably. That end, you think?
Yeah.
All right.
The thing what makes me laugh about him, because it was the 70s and the boys grew the hair.
Yeah.
He used to make them wear ribbons till they got the hair cut. Well, obviously, they had to walk round with ribbons in all day. And that was a laugh, honestly.
Yeah.
A total laugh, but the lads would say.
Unless you were the poor hairy that had to do it. What a shame.
No, but
humiliate them like that.
So they wouldn't get the hair cut off, so they would walk round. He would put different coloured ribbons in.
Swine. What a swine. That's funny, though. It is funny.
I think it is. Mrs. Purvis was me religious education teacher.
Uh-huh.
Oh, she was brilliant.
Good.
Absolutely brilliant. I learned all about the different religions.
Right.
Because I'm into that.
Right.
But I didn't realise she was the vicar's wife.
Uh-huh.
So I used to go to church of my own accord.
Right.
My mum and dad just went, christenings.
Yeah, weddings, that kind of thing.
And the other.
Yeah.
And to start, she invited us to the vicarage.
Oh, wow.
For afternoon tea.
How about that?
With her husband, the vicar.
Teacher's pet.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Gosh, was brilliant. I was gutted when they sent them to Hexham.
Oh, right.
And then they knocked the beautiful vicarage down.
Right.
And then they made this stupid complex called Vicarage Court.
Right.
And then this other teacher, Mrs. Keynes, was the sewing teacher.
Right.
She asked us to go shopping for her. Didn't even leave. I'm supposed to be in class. I says, I'm not going.
Right.
She says, you will go. I says, I'm not going. I says, if my parents see me, which obviously they wouldn't have seen us,
sure.
even though I lived across the road from the school because I worked full time.
Yeah.
Says, I'm not going. She went, well, get out of my class now.
Oh, blimey.
No. But I excelled because...
Good girl.
Yeah.
They wouldn't have sent any of us to the shops because we'd have kept the money. We'd had 3 bags of sweets and they wouldn't have seen us for a week.
Well, she was sending us for a blooming shopping.
Crazy.
Whatever.
You'd never get away with that these days, not at all.
Nah. She tried to, but I wouldn't do it. I don't know.
But
I'm in school and I'm not good.
But you excelled. That's the main thing. Did you? It sounds like you had a pretty good time.
Oh, yes.
Good.
I started doing, like, my own fancy dress costumes. Because my mum bought us a sewing machine.
Right.
Then I invested in an overlocker.
Right.
Made my own curtains.
There you go.
Cushion covers. Everything to match.
Yeah.
So I thought I didn't need you anyway.
No, it's fabulous. So you did pretty good with it. Carol, thank you very much for calling in. Good to hear from you.
I was going to tell you about an embarrassing bit.
Oh, you can do that. Go for it.
Well, at the time, obviously, it was the 70s.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a patchwork suede skirt on.
Right.
With sort of the press studs up the front.
Remember it well, because you had one good grab and that could be off straight away.
Well, that's what I was going to tell you. One of the boys, George Cole, he was the tallest in the school.
Right.
He just got one grab, because it was like a mini skirt there.
Yeah.
You know. One grab, and I was left there.
In your pants.
All the lads laughing. Hit me knickers.
These things have to be done. It's an educational process, Carol. I'm sorry about it.
I got me bloody own back on him.
Oh, what'd you do?
Well, I was in the class with him.
Uh-huh.
He was sitting quite near the back, and I picked the ruler up, and I flung it like a boomerang, and I got him right on the head.
Good lass. He deserved it, the pervert. Carol, thanks again. Good to hear from you, love.
And my best holiday I had at school was the last day.
Oh, where'd you go?
Austria, skiing.
What?
Yes.
Unbelievable.
I was scared stiff, Alan, to get on the plane.
Right. Oh, how great. That must have been a lot of fun.
Oh, it was brilliant. But I wished the holiday away because I couldn't wait to get back on the plane.
Well, that's the thing, because it's the first time it's the furthest you've ever been, isn't it? Furthest you've ever been away from home.
Yeah, my mum and dad never ever went on a plane.
Right.
Never ever went abroad.
But they made sure that you did, which is a lovely thing.
Oh, yes.
Lovely thing. Anyway, Carol, thanks again. Loads of stuff we got there from Carol. Fabulous. Now, another piece of music, but before that, let's have a brief chat with Peter Andre. What are you frightened of? You got any rational or irrational fears, Peter?
Still a bit scared of spiders, even though I did have to deal with them in the jungle. Heights still, but heights only when I can't control myself. So, for example, if I'm in a roller coaster and I know I can't get out until the ride's over, that freaks me out.
Right.
If I'm standing on a building that's high up, but there's glass and I know I can't fall out, I feel fine.
Sure, all right.
So anything I'm not in control of, I'm fearful of.
Right, okay. Ever seen a ghost or had a strange, spooky anything in your life, Pete?
Yes, I've had 2 experiences, but they were both in the resort that me and Dad used to own. We had this little boutique resort in Australia, and sometimes it would be really busy and sometimes it would be empty, and then Dad and Mum would go to bed and I'd go downstairs and into the basement and I'd start going into the cool room. The cool room took 2 people to open.
Right.
Okay, it's very hard to open. It was really squeaky, and we were always saying about getting it fixed. I opened it by myself, took me ages, right?
Yeah.
Walked in, within a split second I turned around, the door was shut. Not only that, but I heard no noise, nothing. Okay, it took me, I can't remember how long it took me to get out, freaked me out. The next day, my brother Chris was a musician, right? So he was downstairs playing guitar. I could hear him playing electric guitar, plugged into the amplifier. I went down, I said, Chris, can you come up? I need you for a sec. He put his guitar down, came upstairs. We sat there talking, and about 5 minutes later, the violin started playing.
Wow.
Right? This is no joke. From downstairs, we both freaked out and thought, oh, come on. We went downstairs. There was no one there. The violin was unplugged and on the floor. So I don't know what it was, but that freaked me out a lot. And plus, I'm crazy about UFOs. So if you ever even got on that subject, so I could talk to you for hours.
Have you ever
that.
seen one?
Well, we went near Area 51, as close as you can get.
Yeah.
And not just me, but the crew. Everyone saw this thing that over Area 51, which, you know, you could say could be military, whatever. But this thing appeared. It became extremely bright, an orb. It moved very quickly in 4 different directions, and then it disappeared, and we saw that 3 times. But, you know, again, that could be military. I don't know, but we all freaked out. My brother Danny was there too, and we all know exactly what we saw, but, well, we don't know what it was.
But you sound as if you are absolutely certain about the fact that there are things here, maybe.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Look, it's like we're a grain of sand in the universe. Like, it's like saying 1 grain of sand is the only grain of sand that contains something of substance. I mean, you can't. I think, personally, but, you know, other people would be like, oh, yeah, whatever, you're mad. But at the end of the day, I so believe that we only know a part of the truth.
Call Alan Robson's Night Owls now.
0191 488 3188.
This is real life conversation with the voice of the North.
Greatest Hits Radio.
Pick up your telephone, give us a call. We've got a few things. Adam in Langley Park has said, words of old. You know, because we had somebody on before saying that it's been yonks, there's another one, since they'd heard the phrase hockle, meaning to spit. Well, Adam in Langley Park has come up with howk, to punch somebody. I gave them a howking, or to pick one's nose. Oh, he howked a decent-sized snotter. Choss, meaning brilliant. Oh, he's double choss. Treble choss you can be if you're that choss. So if you got any more words, especially ones that you used, it's got to be the ones you used. Talked about a lot of things. School seems to be the highlight, including this kind of stuff. There was a Catholic school over the road, and it was like having 2 lots of lions, because we were screaming at each other. I mean, it's not terribly religious, but we used to scream obscenities across the road at each other. You'd get out at playtime, and our playtime was supposed to finish just as theirs started to avoid any incidents. But there was like nearly always like a 5-minute crossover period with, hey, up! It was really quite funny at the time. What about your schools, the schools that were near yours? Did you ever have any kind of incident? 0191 488 3188. Because the one thing I guarantee you, in playgrounds, 2 kids would fall out, or 2 girls maybe, and it would end up with everybody surrounding them. I'm not saying it's right, because I still think in life you've got to learn how to defend yourself and stick up for yourself. Otherwise you get walked over. You know that, I know that. But the school's in a difficult position. They're not allowed to hit. They can't hit them, so they don't want kids to hit each other.
Well, I do understand it, but I still don't agree with it. I think
it's all right.
Wrong.
Right.
100%. I think the fact that my son's come out of this looking in a bad light, considering the school has admitted they don't in any way, shape or form think that he would have hit the boy.
Had the boy hit. Right. But he did.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, because you can't escape that fact. And you're a protective parent who loves your bairn. I understand that too. Trying to look at it from the outside, were the teachers right? I think probably both should have had a red card. If you cannot hit anybody, they both should have had a red card. Or they both should have had a yellow card.
How is one slap different to another slap?
No, that's my point. So they either should both have had a yellow, or they both should have had a red. I think they needed somebody to be the fall guy for it, so they could make the grand statement. You see what we've done to him? You've got a yellow card. You do that again, you're going to get what he got. And then, oh, blame it, don't want that. So they've made the grand statement. But to be consistent, they both should have got red. Now, that's the thing. Do you punish the boy that starts the fight, or the one that maybe smacks him back and finishes it? It's not easy. Tell me about punishments. Oh, there you go. Jane Fleming's been on. Janie. Hi, Janie. Here's some Hull words for you. Mafting means hot. Nithered, oh, that's a northeastern one, meaning cold. Yeah, it's nithering up here. It is tonight. Croggy, meaning getting a lift off your mate on their bike. We would be taking a backer, would be probably what we would say. Bread cake, 10 foot. The list goes on. Neil is still baffled most days. Yeah, and you baffled me a bit. Have a listen to this.
Alan and I got picked up by the hair, swung off the tables, kicked up the jacksie, out the door, ripped me pants, off my German teacher.
How bad can you be at German grammar to get that kind of behaviour? And also, has anybody, because I've done this, I was invited back to my infant school, Atkinson Road, years ago. They were having some, it might have been the centenary or 75 years or something like that. And I went back and I saw the very first urinal stalls that I'd ever seen in my life in school. In there, about 4 inches off the floor. And you see little chairs like this that the Robson backside once fit. Amazing things. An infant school not far from where I used to live, and they invited me along, and it was for like tiny kids, like 4, 5 and 6 year olds. And it was seeing the urinals, the little urinals, like 6 inches off the ground. Oh, is that not the sweetest thing in the world?
The toilets are very, very small as well, in the cute little cubicles.
I walked in because I needed to go and says, where's the loo? And there's the loo, and they sent me in. I'm thinking, what? I'm going to have to be on my knees to use those kind of things. And also, school photographs. Isn't it true that every time they took a school photograph, you had a spot? And you always get a spot 2 days before the picture.
Oh, yeah.
But it's not a spot. It's
Oh.
always happened to me. Don't know whether it was nerves. You know, you're getting your picture taken next week, spot. If you look at all my school photos from being like a tiny little boy right the way up to about 15 or 16, if you flick them, you know, like those picture books that make people walk?
Yeah.
If you flick them, you can see the spot just moving. Chin, nose, brow, cheek. It's ridiculous. The dancing spot. It's horrible. How about that? So get your calls in. A Lego man says, worst thing that happened to me as a kid, some kid pushed me through a classroom door and me bum landed on a full tin of paint and it exploded. Had to get my mum to pick me up, was bruised bad. And probably glossed over your shortcomings. So, we are back very soon. We got Matthew to talk to in a second. But first, another quick break.
The main stories this hour. Health and social care staff will be given priority for coronavirus vaccines at 32 new centres opening in England today. Figures show more than 1 million people in the UK were given a jab over the last 2 days. The Health Secretary says we're making brilliant progress. These people getting vaccinated in Greater Manchester were also impressed.
Brilliant. Really well sorted. Everything is perfectly ordered. It's great.
Absolutely fine. Perfectly run.
No rush. Nice and calm. Straight in. They help you. They take you where you want to go. And no pain or anything.
Meanwhile, councils in England are being given £23 million to help tackle misinformation around the coronavirus vaccine. The government wants to reach out to older people, those with disabilities, and people from ethnic minority backgrounds in particular. The world's 10 richest men have seen their combined wealth increase by over £400 billion during the pandemic. A report's found their earnings this year would be enough to pay for every single person on the planet to have a COVID-19 vaccine. Calls to the NSPCC about children living with domestic abuse across the UK have risen more than 50% compared to pre-lockdown levels. The charity's warning they're receiving 30 calls a day from adults worried about the safety of kids. In sport, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has his first win over Liverpool as Manchester United manager. The Premier League leaders beat the champions 3-2 to reach the last 16 of the FA Cup.
You can't take too many big strides at one point, but we're gradually, layer by layer, getting better and better, winning tight games. So you have the morale and the confidence, of course, is very good.
Elsewhere, Chelsea, Leicester, Everton and Burnley also went through to the 5th round. And Livingston are into a first Scottish League Cup final since 2004 after beating St Mirren 1-0. They'll face St Johnstone in the decider. From Sky News, I'm Kat Suave.
And getting straight into it, thank you, Kat. Dean Charlton's just been on and he says, Alan, do you remember the tracing paper bog roll? I do. It was called Izal and it had one side that was kinda, it would catch your poo. It would hold on to a bit of poo. But the other side was shiny, you know, it's no chance. 140 wipes just to get your bum clean using that Izal stuff. It was horrible. And also, if you do, because there's different techniques of the cleaning of the orifice, some people would wipe, then fold, and then wipe again. And if you did that with Izal and you caught a corner, it was sharp, could actually cut your hoop. Not pleasant at all. And also, someone who just spends too much time on YouTube says the worst thing in her experience was a mam bringing her packed lunch to the school gates in a netto bag. She says that kids were roasted over stuff like that. No, absolutely. But you see, another thing, pick up your telephone. You will get on if you give us a ring tonight. The thing about your school dinners, sometimes, rather than me take the note, you know, and get your free school meals and do the walk of shame, I'd persuade me mum to put me bait up, give us in me sandshoe bag, we used to call them. Or you have a sack when you got a bit older, you have a, because you were tough, like, aye. And you would have your little tin that your mother put a bag of crisps in, a sandwich, a bit of an apple, Kit Kat, just a doubler though, couldn't afford a quadrupler. And the sandwiches, we used to say, oh, what have you got, Alan? What have you got? And I would say, oh, I've got salmon. But it wasn't like proper salmon. It was salmon spread. Or you'd say, oh, I've got beef today. Beef spread. And beef spread and salmon spread were like artificial meat and fish. And it had never seen a fish. It had certainly never seen a cow. I don't know how they did it, but tell me, what did you have for your school bait if you took bait? And did you swap yours like I did too? Time for your third clue. We're very near the fourth clue, so let's get to it. Each answer has something in common with all of the other answers. You've got to find the greatest hit link. The links between four answers. The first clue. This greatest hit band was staying alive and jive talking. Okay? Staying alive and jive talking. What's the band? Second clue. This greatest hit band recorded the albums Revolver, Rubber Soul, and the White Album. Okay? What's the name of that group? Third clue. This greatest hit superstar sang Prince Charming and Stand and Deliver. What, your money or your life. Okay? So, this greatest hit star sang Prince Charming and Stand and Deliver. Okay? You've got three artists. There's a fourth artist coming. Then you tell me what links them all together. Simple as. 0191 488 3188. Do not ring in, please, until you have the fourth answer. Okay? Otherwise, you will look geet silly as oot. And also, who's this? Irene says, my husband Alan and I were born in 1949 and 1951 respectively, and for us, people were rich if they had an indoor toilet and bathroom and soft toilet paper. It's Irene there. Irene, I'm suspecting tiny little hooks in your outside netty with bits of the Daily Mirror with that print that rubbed off on your bum on the hook. Yeah, blimey. There's some days. The days of yesteryear. Let us talk to Matthew in Newcastle upon Tyne. Hiya, Matthew.
Hello, Alan. You all right, mate?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm fine. I've been playing Hitman 3 this week.
Oh, brilliant. Have you been killing lots of people?
Yeah, I've been killing loads of people, yeah.
Okay.
It's been a fun game. I remember once I was on it and the policemen were walking up the stairs. I was crapping myself thinking, oh no, he's coming for me now.
Wouldn't it have been awful though if your real door had opened just at that time?
I would have been in shock. I would have been in shock.
No, that's good. How long can you play on a game without getting bored then, Matthew?
I play on it all the time. When your show's not on a Saturday, I play it to Saturday to a Friday to a Monday and Tuesday.
Wow. Oh, but that's good. It fills the time in. What are you doing, though, about getting out? Because you are still allowed to get a little bit of exercise. Are you able to take a trip out or not?
I can go with my mum, but not with Ian.
No, all right. Oh, that's a shame. That's it. Well,
I'm
it'll be back. It'll be back soon.
Yeah. 3 more things I'm saying. Did you hear about the election with Joe Biden, Alan?
I did. Yes, I did.
I think you did a really good job.
Did you watch the inauguration then? Did you?
Yeah, I watched it. Yeah,
That's
it was interesting.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yep. They're saying that the weather. Did you hear about a tornado the other day? By the way.
Oh, where's there a tornado?
You know the tornado, Chris. What was meant to come here and the wind and that.
Yes, it was supposed to make us very cold as well.
Yeah.
Right.
I looked out my back window and it was snowing.
There you go. You've had a bit of that this week. It's been icy as well underfoot. You've got to be careful.
3 more things I'm saying, Alan.
Okay.
Do you think the PS5 is going to come out in... Do you think there's going to be more stock in April? Because my granddad says there's going to be more stock in April. He said there's going to be more stock. My granddad, he says he's coming on to talk to you next Sunday.
All right. No, I hope so. I mean, a lot of people missed out over the Christmas. So, and let's face it, they want to sell as many as they can. So they'll have another release of it, I've got no doubt. Where there's money concerned, they'll not be shy.
Are you going to get one, Alan, when it comes out, by the way?
I don't play computer games enough to probably warrant it, so I'll probably not. But I do know when you get it, you'll tell me all about it, I hope.
I'm saying, Alan, does Chris play on the computer games? Has he got Black Ops 3? Because Black Ops 3, what they made, is on the PlayStation 3. If he gets it, he'd be able to play it. I mean, he's a nice fella. I'm saying, Alan, I got your autograph the other day with a logo of Greatest Hits on. I was very happy. Thank you.
Oh, you're more than welcome. Chris has just told me in my headphones that the game that he's playing at the present moment is the Pink Piccolo.
What's that?
I'm not really sure. He knows more about these games. He says he spent all last night playing with his Pink Piccolo. That's what he said.
Saying I'll do some shout out to two or three more things. Shout out to Mary and Jimmy, shout out to Neil, shout out to Deborah and John, my Stewie, and Ryan and John. Three more things. I'm saying, Alan, they're saying that they'll get the vaccine for COVID outbreak. Yeah. And we'll be fine, but I don't think we will be fine if we get it. We'll be locked down again. Do you think we'll be locked down for a long time, by the way?
Well, they say that if you take what they said today was if you take the vaccine, you should still, stay indoors as much as you can, just because you might still be able to spread it. So they're just trying to be careful to keep people safe. That's all.
Yeah. Alan was saying you can't go to beaches. You know what I mean? You can't even go to beaches anymore.
Well, you can if you exercise or you're walking the dog. Now, for exercising, that means you can still go to the beach, but
is it off limits, the beach, by the way?
No, you can go to the beach, but it's not like you can put a towel down and have a lie down. You've just got to be exercising. So as long as you're having a walk. Yeah, you should be all right there. But what they're saying is just be careful and keep your distance from people. That's all.
Yeah, I'm saying, Alan, did you watch the soaps over there? I watched them; they were pretty good. I watched the one on ITV. That was good.
Right. Is Coronation Street still happening, or have they stopped because of the lockdown?
Yeah, it's still happening. Yeah,
that's good.
It's on all the time. Hollyoaks is as well. Okay. I'm saying, Alan, do you think they'll be bringing any more David Gray albums out this year? By the way, David Gray.
I love David Gray. I hope so. Nice fella.
Do you know, Alan? I listened to a David Gray song. And it reminded us of you, David Gray, Sail Away, and I thought of you and Chris and Tony on the boat.
Yeah.
How is Tony these days, by the way?
Tony's fine. Obviously, it's another 3 or 4 months before he gets his tag off. But other than that, everything's fine.
Are you not doing the blah anymore, by the way? You don't do the blah anymore. I'm sad about that. I'm sad.
Well, the blah will be back. Just It's only one day a week for people to come on, so we're trying to get everybody on first. But the blah will be back, I've no doubt about it.
I'm saying, Alan, do you think this COVID's ruined everybody's life? Because I'm worried about my relatives, you see, my granddad and my grandma. I'm worried about them both, you see.
Well, what you've just got to do when it comes to COVID is do everything that you're being told and look after yourself and don't take any risks, because you're very special, Matthew. You look after your grandparents if you can, and I'm sure they're being careful too, are they?
Yep. You're special to me as well, Alan. This show means I'm really glad I came on this show. I feel part of it.
Well, you are. You're a big part of it, Matthew. Thank you for coming on.
I better let somebody else come on. I don't want to go this a little bit.
No worries. You've done great. Well done, Matthew.
Good night. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye. John Davies says, Alan, I had one dinner lady who would always give me seconds on the puddings. Flapjack and custard. What a legend. Lindsay Halliday, I'm 30 and absolutely love salmon paste on toast and ham and beef paste sandwiches. But it's not meat, is it? You got to own up. There's no meat in those damn things at all. I used to say, I've got salmon, and everybody would say, oh, because we used to sit around and swap. If I had like two halves of sandwich, I would swap one, and he'd put up with whatever it was my mother made. And we used to, they'd say, oh, I've got a cheese and pickle, or I've got a cheese savoury, or I've got a whatever they had. And they'd give me this sandwich, like loaded, an inch thick. And then I'd give them a sandwich back with the thinnest paste, beef paste over it. When you ate it, you could barely tell there was anything more than butter on it. Brilliant. Oh, a margarine. It's even worse. 0191 488 3188. Who else is out there? We have Simon, who is in Peterlee. Hello, Simon.
Hey, Alan. How you doing?
I'm doing very well. Thank you for coming on. What are you talking about tonight then, Simon?
I'm going to lead on to male mental health.
Okay.
I just want to go on about school dinners.
Oh, go on then.
My school dinners at my first school were absolutely cracking. I can remember, right, so school started at 9 o'clock in the morning, and I can remember hearing the dinner ladies clacking around in the kitchen behind me first classroom.
Yeah.
And that was when they actually made pastry. It wasn't reheated.
Right.
It was proper. They made the pastry, they stewed the beef to have proper steak and kidney pie.
Whoa. No, because what happened in our school, like probably a lot of schools in the north, you'd see at about 10:30, trays would start to arrive. They'd had all the dinners in them, and then they'd go into the kitchen, into the ovens, and then when you pulled them out, they were warmed up. They weren't cooked. Or if they were cooked, they were finished off. But they all arrived earlier in the day, and then they'd be picked up later in the afternoon, or taken back when they brought the next ones the following day. But they didn't do a whole heap of cooking. It was an awful lot of warming up, I think, in ours. So you were lucky you got the best of it.
I'm not kidding you. By 10 o'clock, when break time came, I was absolutely my tongue was hanging out my mouth.
And I would imagine you just smelling what was cooking would be fantastic. You'd want to stay for school dinners.
Yeah, and maths lessons, out the window.
We should learn maths because it's important, and we can do amazing things if we know our maths. But a lot of us, I didn't have what it took to do that thing. Not remotely well.
Do you know? I absolutely hated maths as a child, and I actually got put into, this is how much I hated it, I got put into the lowest of the lowest class, what they call money management, so they could send you out into the world. At least you knew how to count some money.
Yeah.
And I ended up, right, my last job was I was station manager for DHL at Newcastle Airport.
Wow.
With a budget of £4 million.
Cheapers, right.
I was clever as out.
Yeah.
But it was the teachers that didn't inspire me.
Right.
And
gotcha.
You know, it's just like when you get a few teachers that go, yep, I like you, and I'm going to spend some time with you.
Yeah.
And other teachers go, nah, I don't like you, and I'm going to punish you.
Yeah, there's a bit of that goes on. But if you do get one, I had a couple of teachers that I really liked. One was my English teacher, did English and English literature. Was a little bald fellow. He was lovely. Yeah.
That's the difference. You had, back in our day, you had English literature and English language.
Yeah.
And like yourself, I had an English teacher, Mrs. Gray, and she was a wonderful lady.
Good. Because it makes you want to learn. If they light you up about the subject, I had a history teacher that was pretty good and a geography teacher that I quite liked. The rest of them didn't have a lot of time for. But those subjects, even today, I still love all of those things because of how they did it. They made it come alive. They made you want to know more and stuff. So absolute respect to them, because I think it's one of the hardest jobs in the world, being a teacher. No question about it.
Without a doubt, absolutely. And like yourself, history, geography, I had some amazing teachers. And I actually did get, in my secondary school, the subjects changed because I absolutely loved 20th century history. And we were, when I chose history as a subject for, when you choose your subjects for exams, etc.
Yeah.
And I said, right, I'll have history. And then it was 17th history, 17th industrial history and 17th century, which does have its place. But it was just like, I felt like I was being beaten over the head.
Yeah, because if you were thinking, I'll get to learn about the Great War or the Second World War and stuff that's within our family's lifetime, might not be your lifetime, but your parents and your grandparents. And kind of like you, I thought I was signing up for that too. And the first thing was, right, we're doing King Henry VIII and his 6 wives, and you're thinking, hell's teeth. But, in the grand scheme of things, fortunately, my teacher was good and made it come alive and made it interesting. So that's the difference. If you get a good teacher, you're on a winner there, definitely. No, I'm glad you did well with them.
I do have one thing in mind that I remember, like school dinners where you were on about where some people, like myself, took your own bait to school.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. And I do remember what you just said about you had your shoe bag.
Yes, sand shoe bag. Uh-huh.
Yeah. I had mine, and I was a bit poorly from school for a couple of days.
Right.
But I left my shoe bag at school, and I had my bait in there.
Ooh.
And, I had brawn sandwiches.
Right, brawn, yeah.
If people can remember brawn.
Yeah.
And I had, it was like a spam, but with egg in the middle.
Right, yeah. No, I know it well. It had a bit of a crust around the edge as well.
Yeah, right. I had them in the sandwiches.
Right, wow.
And they were in my shoe bag. And I came back to school 3 days later, and I thought, I've got some bait in my sandwich in the shoe bag.
Yeah.
I'll have a go at that. And I was off school for another week.
Yeah, I would imagine in the warm conditions it probably didn't do the food any good at all. The thing was, we were told about when I was in little school, you need a sand shoe bag, and they're easy to make. Your parents probably make one for you, and they did. And then the first thing you realise is that sand shoe bags seem to have been designed so that other kids can hit you over the head and hurt you with it. Because some of them would have football boots in the bag, and they didn't tell you, they didn't warn you about that sucker. But a lot of people got them swung around their heads. Absolutely.
Aye. And as like my main subject, which I was going to say about male mental health. I struggle now and then. And I have done for quite a few years.
Right.
And I've had a very strong network of friends and help, etc., through the music scene, and obviously that's not going to happen, or it hasn't happened with this COVID pandemic and lockdown, etc., etc.
Right.
And I don't know actually where to go, because I can't. I'm one of these people that actually likes face-to-face, a hug, a handshake, etc., etc. And I actually don't know where to go, because there's nothing. You can't go to your doctors because the GP say, "Oh, what's the matter with you?" And you can't even get an appointment, let alone, you know what I mean?
And you can't get a hug and you can't get a handshake. That's the way that it is at the moment. But it will be back. I think in the meantime, a lot of people that have got, certainly the people that I've known and have been dealing with on a fairly regular basis, a lot of them are getting into exercise, because you can still do that. You can get on a bike, go for a walk, you can go for a run if you're into that kind of thing. Exercise seems to be the one area that you could maybe make use of a little bit more. And it's not going to get you a cuddle, and you're not going to be able to shake hands yet. But later in the year, hopefully things will turn around. You've managed to get through 8-9 months now of an awful situation, especially for people with mental health issues. It's been hardest. Obviously, it's been hard for the elderly, people who have existing conditions, but it's been horrific also for people with mental health, because all of the things that you took for granted that were normal in your world, because you like normal, all of them have been tipped upside down. And I don't know how you've managed to look after yourself for the length of time you have. You deserve a lot of credit for it.
I have got a very strong partner behind me, and she's actually had to struggle herself, because she's got COPD, diabetes, and a heart condition as well. So
so she's majorly at risk too. So,
and
well, at least you've got somebody to cuddle. That is major. You know, stick close to one another.
Believe you me, if it wasn't for her, I didn't know what I'd do. And 4 of our family members have actually tested positive in the last way. Her youngest son has tested positive, and his wife, and her middle child and our second oldest grandson tested positive, but they're out of the worst of it as well.
That's good. Great. So they're all going to be fine. That's great news. What you've got to do, though, is stay close. You're very lucky. There's an awful lot of people that have got similar issues to you that don't have anyone. You're ahead of the game by having somebody close to you. You look after her, let her look after you. And then as soon as we get round to shaking hands and hugging again, I'll be out doing it, you'll be out doing it, and we'll both feel a damn sight better for it.
Can't wait, Alan.
I know. It's coming. Last lap, hopefully. Fingers crossed. Thanks for coming on, Simon. All the best.
Thank you, Alan.
Lots of love. Bye-bye. Virtual hug. We'll send you one of them instead. A real rib crusher. 0191 488 3188. Timbo says, Alan, can we talk about bums more? It always ends up down there. Well, you've got one. It's normal. Nothing wrong with that. 0191 488 3188. He's right, though. It does seem to always end in that particular avenue. Crack alley, we could call it. Anyway, we have 3 clues. 4th clue, soon, but not until we've spoken to Brian, who's in Gateshead. Hiya, Brian.
Hi, Alan. School days. Do you know you have like a situation where you get like people moving from another part of the country and then move to your school as a bit of a novelty because they sound different?
Yes, absolutely.
We had this, I won't mention his second name because we had this lad called Simon, and he had a sister called Erin, and we're from Kirby in Liverpool.
All right.
And this is, do you remember when that Yossa thing was on the TV, Gives a Job? You remember all that boys in the black stuff?
Yossa Hughes.
Everybody,
yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Everybody was taking and making out his accent constantly, you know what I mean? All right there, lad, you know what I mean, like that, you know what I mean? And but the funny thing was, when he was at the school, there was I won't mention the name of the school in Gateshead, but there was a massive outbreak of scabies and everybody blamed it on him. And he was like,
what a shit.
you know, they said, oh, he's a bit rough looking, do you know what I mean? Because he's like, come from a rough area.
Yeah.
But everybody liked his sister. You know what I mean? They were quite popular, do you know what I mean? But, yeah, we had an outbreak of the old scabies at the school, so everybody had to get a letter sent home. Everybody had to get paid, even though, you know what I mean? Even though some people didn't have it, you still was a precautious thing to go, so you got to get this, the lotion and all that, you know what I mean? So that kind of brings back a funny memory, like, for that.
Well, of course, you had Nitty Nora the Dicky Explorer, who used to come to the school and put her hands in and see if you had any insects crawling in your head.
Combs used to knock your head into them. Metal combs are terrible. They used to rip your head. You know what I mean? When they weren't careful with you. I remember when we were younger, I went down and get my hair combed and that, them like, you know, them like metal combs or funny shape. You could
barely get a strand of hair through them. They were so narrow.
No, terrible.
But no, I had Dickies a few times when I was at school. There were outbreaks of them. It was nasty. My mother would put your head over a piece of newspaper and comb, and if ever she heard the noise of that was a very heavy Dickie if you heard that one, but she'd wait for the noise like there's a Dickie. Then she'd have to find it and snap its back with a thumbnail. That's what she did to make sure that and then she'd comb your head a second time, trying to see if there was any eggs in there. Nasty. Then she'd do two things. You could either have Durback soap, which is like a brown soap that didn't froth to wash your hair in, had full of chemicals, and if not, she did this once for me. It's a thing called gentian violet, and she cut me hair really like skinhead short, and then she covered me head with this purple gentian violet stuff. I looked like a mutant traffic light lolly when I went to school the next day, and everybody took the way out of me.
You know, the funny thing as well about headlights, you know, the schools now, they're ridiculous because they don't even like, if a kid's got headlights, they still allow that child to come into school and everybody else catches it and all that kind of thing. I would want to shame the child, so... I mean, my poor daughter, she was constantly, she had long hair right on her back.
And they jump on clean hair. If you've got clean hair, they tend to go for you more.
She was constantly getting like headlights, and it was a nightmare to me. Or get these like special combs and stuff, and all this like different lotions and stuff. There was like different like products. It was a right nightmare. I mean,
was she appalled as well that she had them?
Oh, she was annoyed. I said, "Well, don't put your head close to other people's other kids." But she had. I mean, she had really, like, massive long hair. She's got hair like that even now, but...
I mean, when you got to remember, these are kids that are playing sport, they're cuddling and hanging around in the school playground, and all of that's normal, you know, it's like... Yeah. So I think it's hard to avoid it, but you're quite right. If one kid in the class has got it, pretty much everybody will end up with it.
Because I don't send that kid home, I don't want to shame the child. I mean, so the school's got silly policies and that, and like... I remember going to the school... It was an open day or something, and all these teachers were scratching their heads, and I think, oh my God, stand back from them lot. Do you know what I mean? It was quite scary. Do you know what I mean? You think, oh, crikey, the place is full of headlights, and you're walking in there, you're going to catch it yourself.
Right, now you've got to be careful.
A quick one about the COVID thing, right? Yeah. But I don't seem to grasp. Mm-hmm. Well, we've been on lockdown now for what? Since just around about Christmas time. Mm-hmm. Every time we put the news on, they keep on saying, today there's been 35,000 people infected. Yesterday was like 38,000, or the day before, 56. How is it happening with it? If everybody's on lockdown and everybody's like, do you know what I mean, being extra careful because obviously you can't go out anywhere. How are people seem to be catching it? Do you know what I mean? I just don't seem to grasp.
Well, what they're saying is that it's because people over Christmas didn't take it as seriously as they should have done. So therefore they've spread it like mad, which means when they're going to be tested now, they're finding that they've got it. The vast majority, you have to remember, the vast majority of people will be all right whether they've been diagnosed as having it or not. That's the way you should look at it. But you've just got to be as careful as you can be, and hope that it doesn't come your way. We're hearing there's a couple of new strains, one South African one that's coming over, and we've apparently got a new one here as well, so got to watch out for it.
Do you remember before down south, Japan had all these different tiers, tier 2, tier 4, tier 3, tier 1, whatever.
Yeah.
I can remember that it was London, and I think it was the Isle of Wight, in tier 1. And all of a sudden, a few weeks later, them places now have got the new mutation of the virus, so they're in deep trouble, I mean.
So, hey, who knows? Just as I say, on Night Owls, what we're doing is we're trying to push beyond it and talk about something different, because everybody else is talking about the same thing.
But you get sick of it, don't you? Because every time you turn the news on, it's on the news everywhere. It's constantly on the news.
Well, I just realised that we were falling into the same trap and just talking about it, and it's like, well, enough. So let's talk about other things and try and sail through it with a smile on our chops. Lovely talking to you, Brian.
Cheers,
Thanks for
Alan.
coming on,
Thank
mate.
you.
All the best. Bye-bye. How nice was that? Good lad. So, the wag man. We haven't talked about the guy who used to come out from school.
Lauren said, let's put the coal in before Mum gets back. That'll be good. So off we went with a barrow in a bucket, putting this coal in. We were well through it. There was big lumps that you had to pick up with your hand because you couldn't get them on the shovel, you know.
Right.
We're busy, so busy that the school board man was putting up the road on his bike.
Now, can we just say, for those people that have never heard of the school board man, this was a guy that was paid to go to people's houses when the kids played the wag, and when he wasn't doing that, he was kind of cruising around the streets, wasn't he?
Yes, he was, yes. Sorry.
Yeah.
Well, he was coming up on his bike. We dropped everything, ran in the house and locked the door and hid in the toilet. The toilet was facing the back door.
Right, so you could hear what was going on.
Oh, his bike stopped. He walked down, he brayed on the front door. I know you're in there. Come out. He brayed on the sitting room window. Then we heard him walking past the toilet. It was a bungalow, you know that. Walking past, and he was at the back door, and he's screeching, come out. I know yous are in there. Come out. I'll wait till yous come out. I'm sitting crying, and Lawrence is saying, don't make a noise, don't make a noise. Come out, he says. I'll stay here till yous come out. So we went and opened the door. What yous off school for? Mum kept her off because she's gone to the hospital. All right. Get your coat, you're coming to school.
And I bet at that point you were head to toe covered with coal.
We were. We were monkeys. And that man frog marched us up to the school.
There you go. That was the wag man. And also something else we haven't covered. School related. First boyfriends. First girlfriends. First little bits of fascination. I remember buying a lucky bag, for those of you that can remember lucky bags, and leaving it on the desk of the girl that you fancied in infant school. I'd be about 4.5, 5. Lucky bag. She opened it up, and in there was the biggest day glow plastic ring you've ever seen in your life. It was probably bright orange with a lemon stone, something like that. And I thought, she will wear it forever, for she is mine. And she had a look at it, took the contents out, put the sweets in her pocket, and chucked the ring at me. That's women for you, right from the start. I knew I was in for trouble. She's been going out with somebody for 3 years, and she's 8.
Yeah, I know.
So that's kind of sweet, because that's just holy handy love, that though, isn't it? That's a different kind of love altogether.
You know, they still have, my mum gets a present for her to give to her boyfriend, and then...
How about that? Time for your fourth clue. Let's get that one sorted, and then we'll be swiftly across to talk to, I think we got Stephen next. Clue number 1, this greatest hit band was staying alive and jive talking. Second clue, this greatest hits band had hit albums called Revolver, Rubber Soul, and the White Album. Third clue, this greatest hits star had hits like Prince Charming and Stand and Deliver. And the fourth clue, the greatest hitster Buddy Holly had a backing band. What were they called? Greatest hitster Buddy Holly had a backing band. What were they called? You've now got 4 answers. What links those 4 answers together? Pick up your telephone right now. 0191 488 3188. Make it happen.